This afternoon on the home of London football.
Son delivers in towards the near post and it goes right through everyone.
Afobe with the chance and it's in. Millwall have equalised.
Burnley against Tottenham, and on digital radio and TV, Birmingham versus Millwall, with news from around the grounds on the Saturday Sports Show.
BBC Radio London Sport, the home of London football.
And the football season is well and truly underway, which means that Phil Parry is well and truly on the road. In fact, I believe he's in Charlton. Is that right, Phil?
Absolutely correct, Robert. What do you do on a match day ahead of kick-off? I mean, obviously some people go to the boozer, other people will go and get themselves, shall we say, prepared with a bit of a fry-up. So we're outside the Valley Cafe on Charlton Church Road, right, looking down Floyd Road towards where the Floyd Road chip shop is. Can't see it, it's blocked out by a van at the moment. And we're going to go to the Valley this afternoon because obviously a managerial change, first managerial casualty of the season.
That was quick.
Charlton. It was quick, yeah. Dean Holden. He'd been here 10 months. You know, I mean that's quite long, isn't it? Really these days for some managerial. Manager of the month at Watford is literally a job title, rather than actually an award. But yeah, so we're here today for that. But we've got lots and lots of football because, lo and behold, there's an international break. So the top two divisions and even Charlton next week don't play because of an international break. So I think there's some big issues. Can QPR get an away win, another one, with no signings on deadline day, which I'm not sure how well that's gone down. We've got live commentary of Millwall starting early at Birmingham City, looking for their third win of the season, Millwall. And then at 3, we're going to be at Turf Moor, Burnley, for Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur with coverage elsewhere. West Ham, of course, top of the league, Robert.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Which is, well, we're asking ourselves the same question. Well, it happened last night because they beat Luton Town 2-1 away at Kenilworth Road, which was the first game in the Premier League at Kenilworth Road. But as we always have to stipulate, football started before 1992. They got relegated, Luton, from the top flight in 92 with West Ham and Notts County. The Hammers have got back quicker and obviously had some success since then. But it's been a long old journey for Luton. They're back in the top flight, but they've lost all 3 of their games so far. But West Ham have won 3 and drawn 1, and they're top of the table going into this afternoon for everyone. So it's been great for them.
It was 3 London teams in the top 3, I noticed.
Yes, Brentford were up there as well.
Tottenham
and Arsenal, and now West Ham United. So it's been a very good start to the season for London teams in many respects. Obviously a long way to go. But it's certainly in the Premier League. I think outside the Premier League it's been a more difficult start for many of our teams, Charlton included, and obviously QPR and whatever, just trying to find their feet. But listen, we're only 1 month in, Robert. There's still 8.5 to go.
Well, your feet are usually on the end of your legs, as if you're trying to find them. That would be my advice.
Yeah, just keep walking and keep going. That's what we're going to do. Having had obviously some sort of sustenance here at the Valley Cafe.
Well, can I have a sausage sandwich, please?
I'll go and order it now. Lucy's already put her order in.
White bread, no butter, a bit of brown sauce. That'd do perfectly. Thank you.
Bit of brown sauce. Do you want a coffee or tea with it?
A coffee.
Strong tea?
No, a coffee. Actually, I'll have a coffee.
Coffee will do you.
Coffee.
Brilliant. Excellent. I'll go and get it sorted now.
Phil, have a great day.
BBC Radio London,
The home of London sport.
Afternoon. Thank you to Robert for the last few hours on BBC Radio London. It's Saturday Sport. We're live at the Valley this afternoon. Another managerial change for Charlton and live commentary coming from Burnley against Spurs. Just 2 of our big stories today.
BBC Radio London,
The home of London sport.
Saturday Sport.
Yeah, hello there, Louis Mendes, Lucy Lever, myself, Phil Parry. We're live at the Valley. We're already on and off and underway on DAB Digital Radio with Millwall taking on Birmingham City at St Andrews. We'll be there shortly for the latest. We'll also find out exactly what is going on here at Charlton, or will we? There is a new manager to be decided upon at some stage. We'll hear from Steve Brown in the next half hour or so as well. Louis Mendes alongside us. We're sat in the fans bar at this moment in time. Our focus from 3 is on all the 3 o'clock kickoffs and commentary from Turf Moor. It's Spurs looking to bounce back from cup upset.
Here goes Tete and he scores! He sends Forster the wrong way, and Kenny Tete is off to the corner of the Riverside, and Hammersmith stands to celebrate. Forster cannot
9 changes made for the starting lineup. Spurs out of the League Cup at the first time of asking. All focus on the Premier League now with that game at Burnley, and Ange Postecoglou knows it won't be easy.
We're going to get challenged for sure. I mean, playing away in Premier League is always tough anyway, but it'll be a good challenge for us, and we're going to need to be at our sort of current best, the best we can be right now, to overcome that, because they're going to work hard, they're going to press us, and we're going to have to be really brave and believe in our football to get through it.
Lots of stories, of course, today to get our teeth into, not just with what's happening at the Valley, but late last night the transfer window slammed shut. New players finding their way to new clubs, and one or two old faces making reappearances too. For the QPR boss, who's up in Middlesbrough, closing it on a Friday night wasn't the best of things, he thought.
Crazy time for the transfer window to close. 11 o'clock the day before a Saturday. The amount of teams that are going to be on the road and with their squads, it's pretty mental how this is seen. Surely people would have seen that this is a Friday.
So that's what he thought. Are you happy with the business that's been done? Are you unhappy with what's happened? QPR fans, certainly, I'm not sure if they were overly happy with the fact that it was a quiet deadline day for their team. We'll focus on their trip to Middlesbrough. Of course, Charlton against Fleetwood, Millwall already underway against Birmingham City. We've got other London games involving Brentford and Chelsea this afternoon as well, plus the whole of Burnley against Spurs from 3 o'clock. It's Saturday Sport.
BBC Radio London.
The home of London sport.
Good afternoon. Thanks to Robert for this morning on BBC Radio London. Back tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock. The big half will be featured as well. That's not far from where we currently are. That's going to be at the Cutty site where that finishes. We're sat in the fans bar now. If you followed our Odyssey this morning, Louis Mendes and Lucy Lever and myself, you'll realise that we started early with breakfast at the Valley Caf, which was scrummy and very, very filling indeed. We're now sat in a bar, but only soft drinks here at this moment in time for your highly professional reporting and presentation. And just 3 lagers, please. Team at the bar at this moment in time. We're not at the bar, although it's very tempting over on the far side from us. Louis Mendes, Lucia Lever here. We'll be at St Andrews in a moment. Let's go to the location of our afternoon commentary game. It's up at Turf Moor. It's Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur. Burnley, one of those newly promoted sides, yet to pick up a point so far, though Sheffield United at the moment are heading towards all 3. They're 2-1 up against Everton, having been 1-0 down. A really unfortunate goal for Jordan Pickford. Couldn't do anything about it as a shot bounced back off the base of the post and hit him on the back of the head after he dived for it, and it went into the net. He had to smile about it, to be perfectly honest. He couldn't do anything about it. Sheffield United winning. Spurs have made a good start, certainly in the league under Ange Postecoglou. This is a rather mouth-watering one potentially because of what we might see from a footballing point of view, Matt Newson.
Yeah, it's been a breath of fresh air, hasn't it? The Australian coming in, the Greek-Australian Ange Postecoglou. The signing of James Maddison seems to have plugged the gap, or at least inspired some of the teammates around him to kind of new heights. We've seen Sonu looking revived with the captain's armband, and as you say, the football's been really attractive. I think this is a big litmus test, actually, of Tottenham. Obviously, particularly on the back of the cup defeat in midweek, where they were possibly a little disappointing. This is the sort of ground where a Tottenham could be Spursy, to quote the much maligned phrase. But I think that this Spurs team is going to show what it's made of this afternoon. As you say, Burnley under Vincent Kompany, a very different animal to the Sean Dyche era. Burnley, they're a side that likes to get the ball down, so it could be a really interesting battle, this one. Obviously none of the new recruits that were signed yesterday are available for Spurs, but with Brennan Johnson waiting in the wings, it's a big one this afternoon for the likes of Dejan Kulusevski to make an impression.
I'm going to ask you about Brennan Johnson because you have a very keen eye on Nottingham Forest. Matt, if you don't mind us sort of revealing that.
No, not at all.
What are Spurs? You've watched him probably more closely than Spurs fans, and we've watched him closely. But what are they getting?
I think they're getting a player who electrifies the game. He's one of those. He plays with a fearlessness, which obviously comes with a little bit of youth, but there's quality behind it. This isn't a kind of headless chicken running, trying to run defenders ragged. He's cute with his runs, he's extremely quick, he's really cool in front of goal, he can play wide or through the middle. He's got so many options, and I think because he is adaptable, and I think he's still got plenty to learn, despite the fact that he's shown that he can cut it at Premier League level. I just think, he's the ideal player to pick up for Spurs. Did they pay more than they would like for him? Possibly, but I think they're signing a player who is, a lot of clubs to spend that kind of money now to get a world-class player. They're getting somebody perhaps who isn't quite at that level yet, but the promise is there and what he's delivered so far. And I think the way that Ange Postecoglou's teams are playing, from the early evidence that Spurs have got, it just seems to fit the mould completely. If it's interchanging with Son, pulling wide, dragging defenders around and maybe opening up opportunities for other people, getting in behind over, raking balls over the top, everything that you sense that Spurs are looking to get from a player is kind of meets his skill set. So it's a painful one in a way for me. A homegrown talent that we produced, but to get that kind of money back through the coffers for a player that you produced, and obviously there was investment in his talent through academy systems, but it's not like going out and spending money on a player, is it? So it's one of those where I think it was going to happen at some point, and I think if he was going to go anywhere, and going back a little bit, the careers of Michael Dawson and Andy Reid, I thought really flourished at Tottenham, so it just feels like a good fit.
Definitely, especially I think Reedy sort of had some injury problems as well, though, didn't he? He ended up here, didn't he, at the Valley?
He did,
Louis, and I'm not quite sure
he was very popular here.
Fulfilled his potential, because we thought he was going to be a real superstar.
He was very popular in a side that got relegated here at the Valley, which sort of sums up where Charlton were at that point. It's like when Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank came here, but didn't quite hit the heights. No, that does happen. Matt, just briefly, you mentioned Burnley. It is a different type of Burnley under Vincent Kompany to what Sean Dyche delivered, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You only have to look at the recruitment. I'm certainly not locking players, and Ben Mee's probably a bad example, because I think he's gone to Brentford and showed that he's a shrewd cookie. But the likes of a James Tarkowski or a Josh Brownhill, or those kind of players who were brought in of like solid pros, Chris Wood alongside Ashley Barnes up front. That's the kind of Sean Dyche attack. This is a team. This is now a Burnley side which is really almost like trying to prove to people that they've got a different identity these days, and I think they're really entertaining to watch under Vincent Kompany. He doesn't want teams to just belt it forward. So I think what I think Spurs are going to find today is that they're possibly going to see. A mirror image is probably pushing it a little bit far, but they're going to see a team that wants to play like them, but in an atmosphere which can be really kind of electrifying. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how Ange Postecoglou's tactics go, because as you say, it used to be a clash of styles, and I don't think it is now.
No. Matt, back with you. It's the two Matts, Newsom and Lockwood. Which did we decide that they were solicitors or detectives, Luce?
You decided. Don't blame this on anyone else.
Matt,
I think it either works.
Matt, solicitors or estate agents, actually. I think estate agents. Newsom and Lockwood, I think it's an estate agent, I'm afraid, Matt.
I think we've probably got more chance of selling you a dodgy property than we have a decent deal on your car. Yeah, exactly. And solving a crime. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're probably better at that. Probably got the patter better down than that. So.
Yeah, brilliant. I bet you have. Okay, back with you later. Matt Newsom, Matt Lockwood, full commentary. Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur. You know who would like a gold bar of chocolate this afternoon, if I could tempt him, once he's finished his work, of course, would be Matt Newsom, who's going to be watching Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur for us this afternoon with commentary on BBC Radio London. Fancy that, Matt? Gold bar of chocolate?
Oh, tell you what. Yeah, absolutely. One of the great sweet snacks, that one. And a sweet snack is one way of describing this afternoon's game. Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur. Ange Postecoglou's side in decent form despite their midweek exit to Fulham in the Carabao Cup. Just 3 survivors from that particular team. One change from the side that won last in the league last weekend against Bournemouth. The one player to drop out is Richarlison, who moves to the bench. Manor Solomon comes in onto the wing with Son, I think, taking a role up top. As for Burnley, well, they make a host of changes from their their midweek win over Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup. Dara O'Shea and John Beck Goodmanson are the only two players to survive their midweek cull as well. So yeah, big game this for Spurs. Can they show that midweek was a bit of a blip? Let's wait and see, but this should be an interesting game in front of a partisan crowd, Phil.
Is Matt Lockwood with you?
He is indeed.
Yeah, Matt, you never touch chocolate. That's why you're still at the same fighting weight as when you were playing, Matt. I know that for a fact.
I thank you for noticing.
Spurs need to react, don't they? Because although, you know, there may have been reasons for wanting to make changes, the fact they've been knocked out of a cup has disappointed some of the fans.
Yeah, of course, but they want to just build on their league form. They started well. Obviously, the Ange effect has taken, I think it's taken effect. Having seen Postecoglou at Celtic, sort of like quite closely, over the last sort of like little while. You knew what he was going to bring to the table. You knew it was going to be exciting. It was going to be attacking. It was going to be positive on the front foot. And I don't think Tottenham have had that in recent managers. Under Conte and Mourinho, it's always felt slightly negative, and that's not really the Tottenham way for me. Growing up, it was always about exciting, football on the front foot and playing that flair way. And I think that's what Postecoglou will get the boys doing now. And okay, we all know that Harry Kane was a big loss from his goals, but I think the energy and the legs that Postecoglou will bring in and is starting today will show, I think, what the Tottenham fans will witness over the course of the season.
We'll see you this afternoon. Back with you two very soon. The two Matts are Lockwood and Newsom. But our commentary match comes from Turf Moor. It's Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur, Vincent Kompany against Ange Postecoglou, and your commentary team, Matt Lockwood and Matt Newsom.
Yeah, having faced their first real blip of the Ange Postecoglou era, Tottenham Hotspur are looking to get back on the horse after their midweek cup exit by Fulham, which came on penalties. They have made changes, just 3 survivors from that side who lost to the Cottagers, and they come in the shape of their goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario. He actually comes in. Pedro Porro also comes in. Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Udogie are across the back four. Ibasuma and Pepe Matasar in those two holding midfielder positions. Across the front three behind Heung-min Son, Dejan Kulusevski, James Maddison and Mana Solomon. As for the bench, Fraser Forster, Oliver Skipp, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Davison Sanchez, Richarlison, Ivan Perisic, Emerson Royale, Ben Davies and Ashley Phillips complete the lineup for Spurs. As for Burnley, James Trafford is their goalkeeper, Connor Roberts, Dara O'Shea, Jordan Bayer and Amin Al-Dakil are the back four. In midfield, Sander Berger, Josh Cullen and Lucas Koleosho, with Jan Beck Goodmanson, Lyle Foster and Zeki Amdouni up front. On their bench, Amjet Muric, Jack Cork, Josh Brownhill, Jay Rodriguez, Manuel Benson, Nathan Redmond, Johan Brun Larsen, Hannes Delcroix and Wilson Odobert. So as Eminem rings around the PA system here, Matt Lockwood, Tottenham Hotspur in all blue with white socks. What do you anticipate will be going through their minds as they approach this one?
I think they'll be positive. They'll come here as favourites. Obviously Burnley did fantastically well last year to get promoted, but they're a promoted team, and I think whenever one of the big guns comes to town, they come here expecting to win, and it's not an easy place to come. Obviously we can hear the Burnley fans, they're very passionate up at this neck of the woods, but I would definitely fancy Tottenham to come out on the front foot and really start asking questions of Burnley early on.
It's a different type of Burnley that we're watching though, from the side that we've been and come and watched over the past couple of years before they were obviously relegated last time out. They've had a bit of a facelift as a football club, haven't they, in terms of how they approach games? Completely.
I think when Sean Dyche was here for a long time, and he did fantastically well at this club on a shoestring budget, keeping him in the Premier League as long as he did. But obviously when they went down, they decided to make that change and brought Kompany in, and let's be honest, he's done a fantastic job.
Spurs try and keep the ball in play. Manor Solomon got a little nudge in the back and took the ball over the byline on this near side, and so the touchline, should I say, on this near side. So it will be Burnley possession. James Trafford are at 10 yards outside his goal. Looks to go long. We've just been ramping up about how things have changed here at Burnley, but that was pretty direct. And they've got the ball on the edge of the penalty area, but the flag is up on this near side. For a second, I thought Darren England was going to play on. It eventually spots and gets the call, which in this cauldron, it's noisy here at Turf Moor, as you might expect here on BBC Radio London Sport. Tottenham Hotspur eventually get the free kick, Matt.
Yeah, the assistant referee was there with his flag up for ages. I was like, is the referee ever going to blow? But he saw it eventually and made the right decision. But like you say, that long ball forward, Tottenham weren't expecting it, were they? They put them under a little bit of pressure.
Little ball clipped out to Pedro Porro on that right-hand side. The ball pinched off his toe by a Burnley side who was squeezing up on the Spurs players in possession. And Heung-min's son has done exactly the same thing for Tottenham there, closing down Trafford. His long ball forward will be mopped up here by Destiny Udogie. Back to his goalkeeper in Guglielmo Vicario. No Hugo Lloris at the moment this season. Another changing of the guard within this Spurs side under Ange Postecoglou. And Spurs are certainly testing out their mettle at the back as they nudge the ball around their own penalty area, Matt. Not, it's a brave style of play, isn't it?
Well, one mistake and you're going to let a goal in, put it that way. But I think goalkeepers now, they're just probably as good as the outfield players, aren't they, with the ball at their feet, and they give them every confidence. I mean, watching from afar, you're sort of watching with your hands over your eyes, like just expecting something to go wrong. But in all fairness, Burnley just stepped off them and let them play out. So fair play to them.
Ball worked wide for Burnley on that left-hand side. Porro is across the cover along with Kulusevski. Ball worked back inside the Burnley half now with Jordan Bayer, and the ball is taken off his toe, and Pape Matasar's got it down that right-hand side here for Kulusevski, herring into the box, support flooding forward. He'll pick out Solomon. Bit of a loose touch here, driven away from goal by Burnley. Back out it goes to Yves Bissouma. And now out to the right-hand side of the penalty area with Porro again. Now on to Kulusevski. Back to Bissouma. Trying to stretch Burnley and work a little bit of space here. Credit to the home side they got back, but Spurs might have felt that was an opportunity they should have made more of.
100%. I mean, it was, Kulusevski did well getting down the right-hand side. And in all fairness to Solomon, he actually slipped just before the ball came to him, so he was off balance as it came. But like you say, just that one loose touch that only probably went maybe a yard different to where he actually wanted it to go. The whole attack broke down, and Burnley managed to get back in play. That's the quality that you need in that final third to be able to open up these defences.
So Spurs applying the similar squeeze now as Solomon looks to put pressure on Jordan Bayer at the back. Now back Goodmanson just taking on board some fluid, which tells you just how unseasonably warm it is here in Burnley. The sun is shining. Far cry from last season where one of the games was called off, wasn't it? And Spurs came here for a snowfall that just blanketed the place. Very different this afternoon. Burnley trying to work their way out of trouble here and eventually do so. Sander Berge gets it out to that left-hand side. The home crowd rises. Porro, they've got it in behind now with Ruka Koleosho. He's gone past Porro, cuts it back, and Burnley have opened the scoring here. Cut open by the ball out to Koleosho, and Lyle Foster beats Vicario, and Spurs have a goal down. Burnley 1, Spurs 0.
And Postecoglou's going to be fuming. It was such a simple pass. It was like, the ball in behind Porro, and he sort of got back, but then got done with a little drop of the shoulder, and then as soon as he got in behind him, just one little pass, cut back, and it was a tap in really. And that's exactly what we were saying. You come to Turf Moor and you can hear the atmosphere. You need to start off solid, and that. They had a warning in the first ball through, didn't they? When that long ball went through, and it was just a simple ball down the outside, and it was just poor defending from Tottenham, and that's been their problem for so many years, isn't it? That real grittiness and that determination to stop people scoring, and they just given Burnley the freedom of Turf Moor for that in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, first goal scored, as Matt Lockwood said, within the 5-minute mark. Sander Berge applies pressure to Pape Matasar. And the throw-in. I thought that throw had gone Burnley's way, but in the end, Spurs have got it back. And Christian Romero goes back to his goalkeeper, Vicario. Edge of his own 6-yard box, square it goes to Romero, and Burnley are just taking that opportunity to squeeze up here. Van de Ven, he almost slipped and had a mistake in him. And now Koleosho's trying to put pressure on. Pedro Porro lofts one forward. Son is beaten to the punch here, and Burnley are beating Spurs to the punch all over the field at the moment. Koleosho down this left-hand side, tucks the ball down the line. Good blocking there by Christian Romero. As they chased it to the byline through Connor Roberts, it will be a goal kick to Spurs, and they need to take the sting out of things here, Matt Lockwood.
They do, but they're inviting pressure, just playing it out so short from the back. I think sometimes, it's not the worst thing in the world to go that little bit longer and just get the ball up and out away from your goal. And I know it's not the done thing in the Premier League anymore. The players are all so comfortable on the ball, but when you're 1-0 down after 4 minutes and they're on top and they've got the wind in their sails, you just do not want to concede another one.
Yeah, if you've just joined us, Burnley 1, Spurs 0 on BBC Radio London Sport. We'll keep you up to date with the rest of the action around the Premier League, Championship Leagues 1 and 2. But at the moment, Spurs, in your live commentary, trail by that Lyle Foster goal. Still plenty of time. And they really need to get this game grabbed by the scruff of its proverbial neck, and that's better. They've forced an error from Amin Al-Dakil over on that far side, and it will be a throw to Spurs just outside the Burnley penalty area. But those in claret and blue have swarmed back in numbers, so looking to work an opportunity as Maddison finds Porro. Ball clipped in behind it for Son to chase to the byline. First time cross from him, sails over the head of those in the box. It will be picked up by Destiny Edozie on this left-hand side. Looks to go past Goodmanson, bangs in a low cross. It will fall back out to Solomon. Low shot from him is deflected and then hooked away by Goodmanson. That was better from Spurs. Porro's got another chance to reload him.
Yeah, much better, wasn't it? A good ball in from Son. Solomon just gambled to go to the near post, and to be fair, Son hadn't really looked up. And I think sometimes when you make those runs as forwards and you're crossing it, you don't look up, you just whip it into an area and hope that someone's in there. And it was just unfortunate that Solomon went near post and the ball went to the far post.
Maddison with a 1-2 over on that far side, manages to wriggle past a couple of Burnley defenders. Into the box he goes, then he's blocked off by Bayer. Referee happy that he just stood his ground, the Burnley centre half, and it will be a goal kick. But Maddison just showing a little bit of flashes of trickery which have lit up the season so far.
I think he's a great player, isn't he? I think he was a fantastic signing for Tottenham. It was definitely a player that they needed.
8 minutes gone here. Burnley 1, Spurs 0. What about Brentford, who are in action this afternoon? Let's find out what's happening with Harry Symeou.
It's 1-0 to Brentford here at the GTEC Community Stadium. They had a free kick to the left of the Bournemouth penalty area. It was whipped in on goal by Matthias Jensen. Neto dived across his goal, got a hand to it, got a strong hand to it. It didn't look as though it had crossed the line. It took an awful long time for Bobby Madley to get the communication, because it seems as though his watch wasn't working, on which he would have normally received the alert, but he got word in his ear that the ball did cross the line, and so Brentford are in front through Matthias Jensen. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 0.
Thanks, Harry. Boy, how Spurs could do with a goal here at Turf Moor, in the shadow of the hills here in Lancashire, as Trafford, first time ball, hits out Goodmanson on that left-hand side. Back infield it comes, but the tackle is hard and fierce on Amdouni, who just dropped deep there. Spurs have rallied and seem to have recovered, but they still haven't had that passage of continued possession that they would like to enjoy.
No, they haven't. I think sort of formation-wise, it looks slightly different than normal. It looks like they've gone sort of 4-1-3-2, and James Maddison's up top with Son. He's really sort of a lot further forward than he normally plays. But then I think he's probably got that licence to then drop in deep and pick up those little pockets and cause trouble for the back line of Burnley.
So it's Sander Berger goes back to his goalkeeper Trafford again. Spurs really trying to squeeze up and pin Burnley back. Foster gets the header down. Now they're bursting into space through Cullen. Cullen can only play it as far as Van de Ven. Out wide it goes, looking for Solomon. Cut out that time by Al-Dakhil and then played down the line here for Foster to chase. Goes past Van der Ven. He's into the Pelch area, right side. Van der Ven stands his ground and eventually that one goes behind and it will be a Spurs goal kick. But when they've stretched the play, Burnley, they have caused problems. We'll get Matt Lockwood's thoughts on that in just a moment. 10 gone here. Burnley 1, Spurs 0. There has been a goal. Newport AFC Wimbledon, Stuart Smith.
Newport County 0, AFC Wimbledon 1. The goal coming inside 9 minutes. The ball played out to the right-hand side. El Hamadi made good use of it. Turned inside the defender. Fed Tilley just inside the box. Good quick feet and drilled it in at the far post. It's Newport County 0, AFC Wimbledon 1.
So another bright start for one of our London clubs here on BBC Radio London Sport. Basuma up to Son. His touch back is picked off though by Amdouni, and Burnley have it back. Just haven't quite got that attacking rhythm going, Matt.
Not yet, but you can see it's there, isn't it? It's just a couple of their touches are a little bit heavy or under hit. But Burnley have started well. You can't take it away from them.
Well tackled that time by Destiny Adoji. As Foster tried to go beyond him again, using that pace. Basuma into Madison, just got suction tight ball control on him there as he then works it wide to Solomon. Holds play up midway inside the Burnley half. Back with Adoji, who then finds Van der Ven across the halfway line. It moves now with Romero, finds Son in a bit of space, works it into the Pelch area now. Porro being forced wide, ball taken off his toe, in fact played off him. And it goes behind for a goal kick to Burnley, who at the moment just have Tottenham enough at arm's length.
They do, but it's still positive from Spurs. I think even there, Son gets it in that little hole, turns, and I suppose when you're playing the ball through, you probably want it to go to a Maddison or a Kulusevski, but Porro had obviously made the run. His first touch sort of let him down a little bit, and it was quite easy then for the Burnley defenders to sort of like gather round and clear it up. But it was that positive ball into Son's feet, because if you can get it into his feet and Maddison's feet in that final third, they're going to create stuff.
Plenty of runners around them, even as if Matt says it wasn't quite the option that they were looking for. Al-Dakhil goes back into his back four with the throw. O'Shea knocks it forward. Berger knocks it back to his goalkeeper on the edge of his own D. Clips one forward. That's an easy one for Pedro Porro to bring down. Instead he'll head it back to Vicario and Spurs can start again from deep inside their own half. They trail by a goal to nil here at Turf Moor. We will head around the grounds in just a moment. We'll just see what happens with this attack, because the ball has been played into Kulusevski. A little bit of miscommunication for a moment there. James Trafford eventually hoists the ball away. Right, let's get around the grounds. Let's start with the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Nottingham Forest is Ahmed Nur.
12.5 minutes gone, it's still 0-0. One real chance we've had so far. Ben Chilwell fired a lovely low ball in towards Raheem Sterling. Seemed destined to score, not for ex-Chelsea man Ola Aina to cut in with a late challenge. Swept behind for a corner. Had a couple of minutes delay because Tim Robinson, the referee, had communication issues. He required a new radio, so we may see some more added time than normal at the end of the first half. But even game so far, it's still 0-0.
Solomon bursting into the box that time for Tottenham. We'll go around, continue our wander around the grounds in just a moment, but Spurs just enjoying a bit of possession here. Eventually the ball will go back and it will be lumped forward by Vicario. Now we wait for Spurs to remanufacture that attack. Let's get over to the Etihad. Manchester City against Fulham with Josh Watton.
Yeah, 13 minutes played here, Mike. Still Manchester City 0, Fulham 0. Nothing much to report, really. Both sides enjoying spells in possession, but neither of them doing enough to trouble the opposition defence. 13.5 minutes played, Manchester City 0, Fulham 0.
Still goalless there. Burnley on the attack here as Spurs trail by a goal to nil with 14 minutes gone into the Championship. Middlesbrough QPR, Mark Taylor.
It's still 0-0 at the Riverside. Middlesbrough just starting to make an impact. Elias Chair has made a couple of great runs down the left-hand side for Rangers. Middlesbrough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
We will head into League One in just a moment. Burnley, though, pressing the Tottenham penalty area. Berger being forced back. That's better from Spurs. Let's then get off to Fleetwood against Charlton with Louis Mendes.
Yeah, 12 minutes gone here at the Valley. It's still Charlton 0, Fleetwood 0. It's the visitors who've had the two big openings, though. Jaden Stockley on his return to SE7 hit the bar with a free kick that bounced off the goal line and out. Also seen Ryan Graydon lift over from the edge of the box after a well-worked short corner. Still Charlton 0, Fleetwood 0.
Here come Burnley, blocked that time from Destiny Udogie. Spurs being pressed here. 15 minutes gone, Burnley 1, Tottenham 0. We'll continue our stomp around the grounds in just a moment, but Spurs under the pump, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, they are. Burnley are popping it around really well. I mean, that all started from the goalkeeper just playing it out. He was about 10 yards outside of his own box with Tottenham players closing him down. He picked a great ball out over to the left wing, and they're just popping it about and opening Spurs up. They're playing really well, Burnley, so far.
Corner from this right-hand side. In swinger, bent in near post. It was almost helped forward by Lyle Foster. It goes behind for a goal kick. Spurs survived that raid. Dave Victor is at Leyton Orient Stevenage.
And it's still goalless. Leyton Orient, though, denied by the woodwork in the 6th minute. A lovely move. It was Ford that spun the offside trap. He found Soturio one-on-one with the goalkeeper. His shot smashed against the bar at the other end. Roberts and Reed have both gone close, but it remains Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 0.
Oh, that's beautifully done by Heung-min Son. Ball into Solomon in the box, picked out Son in space in the middle, and Tottenham Hotspur are level on 16 minutes. Heung-min Son with the deftness of touch, just lifting it over Trafford, and having been right under the cosh, Tottenham are back level with just over quarter of an hour played. One apiece.
It just shows the quality Spurs have got, isn't it? You know, as soon as they were 2-on-2, you thought that something could happen. And Solomon picked the right pass, played it into Son, and as soon as it went to him, you just know what was going to happen. He's so cool under pressure. And as the goalkeeper and defender dived in on him, he just did a cheeky little dink over the pair of them, made them look daft and into the back of the net. And you know, I think that's definitely something that Tottenham can rely on, knowing that they've got that quality up front. And yes, we all know who they're missing, but they've still got a lot of quality in this attacking lineup. And when they do get chances, 9 times out of 10 they'll score.
Heung-min Son, first goal of the season for Spurs. Apologies to Dave Victor for gate crashing his report there. But Spurs are the side who have scored and are all square now here at Turf Moor on BBC Radio London Sport. Let's get up to Craig. Is at Sutton against Forest Green Rovers.
Yep, where it's 17 minutes gone. Sutton looking for consecutive wins for the first time since February. Sutton looking the closest. It was the Forest Green Rovers goalkeeper Luke Daniels forced to clear his lines on 9 minutes following a beautiful in-swinging corner from Milsom. Just a couple of moments ago, Patrick, the midfielder, was volleying from just inside the area after an idyllic cutback from O'Brien, but it hit the bar. It is 17 minutes gone. Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 0.
Here it's one apiece at Turf Moor. BBC Radio London Sport. Tottenham away at Burnley, or 3 o'clock commentary, and it's a throw in from the far side. Spurs just trying to delay Burnley from taking that throw in quickly. And you can hear those Spurs fans now, Matt Lockwood, because I mean it was a beautiful goal, wasn't it?
It was, and it was like we all know it was a slow start, but they're getting back into it. And even though Burnley are playing well, it was important that Tottenham got one back quickly, because if they didn't, then it gives Burnley something to sort of park the bus and defend for the rest of the game.
I was going to say, really impressed with Destiny Udogie. He and Bissouma trying to play their way out of trouble at the back here. Bissouma then gets the ball taken off him, and Van der Ven has to try and hold up Foster. Back on that right-hand side, killed him by Goodmanson. Free header at the far post that time for Amdouni, and he couldn't find the target. In fact, it was Koleosho, the Italy youth international, couldn't find the target. Thankfully for Spurs, Ange Postecoglou, whilst he's seen some glorious stuff from his side going forward, would like to get a word onto some of his defenders. It has been a little bit lax.
Yeah, I mean it was lucky from the Spurs point of view that it was a terrible decision, really, I think, from Koleosho to try and head it. There wasn't enough pace on the ball, but he had room. He could have taken it down on his chest and actually volleyed it. So Spurs actually really were lucky there.
Destiny Udogie picks out Solomon. He's got Maddison to his left. Maddison will play it to the byline. Can't keep it in play. That was just, again, that little bits of sharpness there for Manor Solomon. All it needed was a little nudge into space for Maddison. Overcooked it, and it's a Burnley goal kick.
And again, I think that was probably very easy to see that it was a lack of playing time together. That's not where Maddison wanted the ball. We sort of, having watched Maddison play for many years, where he wants it. He wants it to his feet. He doesn't want it in behind where he's running after it. And that was just a bit of miscommunication between the two of them. But again, things like that will only get better when they play more together.
Yeah, plenty of positive signs. Hamdouni works it wide left out here for Burnley, midway inside the Tottenham half. Berger manages to wriggle away from Pepe Matassar. Back to Hamdouni, hammers the shot just wide of Vicario's post. I think he had it covered. He was sprawling across the goal mouth. But another sighter there for Burnley, and another chance that's notched up against Spurs. So here, one apiece. Let's get off to Charlton Fleetwood with Louis Mendes.
Chance.
And it's the Addicts who have fallen behind. Charlton 0, Fleetwood 1. Who else but Jayden Stockley on his return to SC7. Great cross from the far side from Ryan Broom. Stockley rose highest and headed in via the post. Charlton 0, Fleetwood 1.
Thanks, Louis. It's always that way, isn't it? Returning players, notching. You can almost write the script on those. 21st minute of the game here at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Tottenham 1. Pepe Matassar goes back into his defensive area with Christian Romero, and the van is shown short for Vicario, and it will be he who takes the possession. Back to his goalkeeper, lofted forward looking towards Solomon on halfway. Al-Dakir seems to have 50p head that anywhere, but at the back Dara O'Shea will nudge that back for Burnley into the 18-yard box for James Trafford, who then plays it out right down the ground and causes his side all sorts of problems, and Dara O'Shea can't deal with the back pass, and Tottenham have got a corner, and they maybe just through that pressure starting to force a few errors of their own.
Yeah, interestingly enough, James Maddison about 5 minutes ago, he went and pressed, I think it was O'Shea down, and when the ball got played past him, one of the Burnley midfielders was sort of spare, and he was really encouraging the rest of his team to press and go and try and win the ball back early up high up the pitch, and you can see why, because they're not good enough to play out.
Maddison with a corner, left hand side, beating sunshine here at Turf Moor. He goes short to Solomon, who tees it back to Maddison, who gets onto his left foot, whips one back post, brought down at time by Son. Kulusevski tries to square it off, and then it's just booted clear by Lyle Foster. That was as industrial as it gets, Matt, and I guess it did the job, but Spurs get the ball back here.
I think if in doubt, kick it out was very apt than that one.
Yeah, it was old school, thump it away. Last 5 minutes, the Alamo stuff, as the ball looking for Kulusevski is lofted forward, and he tried to backheel that back. Jordan Bayer made sure he was aware of the ball that was coming over the top, and then as Spurs chase the pickings, there's a foul from Bissouma, and it will be a Burnley free kick midway inside their own half over towards that left hand side. One apiece here at BBC Radio London Sport. We'll keep you as up to date with the rest of the London sides in action this afternoon as the goals go in around the grounds. Burnley, that's cut out nicely by Porro. Lovely header towards Matassar. He couldn't quite turn it round the corner. Sander Berger picks it off, and it's Burnley's turn to break here. Ball played out towards Hamdouni, and then he will help it on its way to Goodmanson. Down this right-hand side now for Burnley, approaching the edge of the Spurs penalty area. Square to Hamdouni, gets it out of his feet, left-footed pass in towards Foster, toes it back to Berger. Oh, real threat here being shown. Koleosho wriggles into the box, block tackle, gets a shot away, it falls to Foster. Great save, Vicario, managed to close the legs before he was megged, and then the ball into the box. Goes behind for a goal kick. And Spurs survive, but Vicario, well, he really had to react quickly.
I don't think it would have counted anyway. The assistant referee there got his flag up. I think Foster was definitely offside, and it looked like he was. But again, you just can't tell, can you? There could be like a shoelace playing him onside, and you have to play to the whistle. But Burnley do look quite dangerous, don't they, when they get that ball into that final third. Koleosho there, ducking and diving, and you can't really tackle him because he's in the box, and you stick a leg out, you know what's going to happen. So Tottenham really do need to be on their mettle at the back and carry on just doing what they're doing going forward.
Romero to Porro, and then forward up towards Kulusevski. Lovely turn to spin away from Bayer. Here comes Spurs. Ball trying to look for the run of Son in behind. Burnley have won it back here, and Worryingly, Kulusevski has stayed down for Tottenham. Burnley being allowed to play on here. Connor Roberts waiting for a call from somewhere before stubbing the ball out. Frustration. So one apiece here. 25th minute of the game.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why the Burnley fans are taking such offence to Kulusevski. He clearly got caught on the ankle. I mean, he's now made it worse for himself where he's getting up and he's walking without even limping. He could have actually faked a bit of a bit of a hobble, but he's back up on his feet. There's a water break going on because it is roasting hot here, and we should be back underway anytime soon.
So it's one apiece. I think there's been a goal for one of our London clubs. Leyton Orient Stevenage. Here's Dave Victor.
And it's the visitors that have shattered the deadlock. They did it in the 21st minute. Dan Butler with a low, hard free kick, which turned in by the debutant Charlie O'Neill. And just after that, Leyton Orient survived strong appeals for a penalty with Turns catching Reed. It's Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 1.
So Orient behind as Burnley knocked the ball around inside their own 18-yard box, knocked forward. Romero behind it for Spurs. The second ball picked up by Basuma, got in ahead of Jander Berger that time, and then Connor Roberts just blocked him off with as clear an obstruction as you'll see, and Spurs get the free kick but take it quickly. How do they approach this next 20 minutes or so, Matt?
They need to make sure they're solid at the back for any sort of, like, not long balls, but balls in down the sides, in the channels, because Burnley got two willing runners.
Well, here they go. Kulusevski into the box, played in by Maddison. Oh, he's tackled that time by Jordan Bayer, who's done really well, and Kulusevski's done even better to win that back on the apex of the penalty area. Maddison back now in towards Kulusevski, right side of the box. Look for the clever touch into Son. Burnley hook it clear, only as far as Romero. Applying some pressure now, Spurs. 27th minute of the game. One apiece. Basuma to Maddison. Little triangles fired into Kulusevski, who holds it up nicely on the edge of the box. Was he dragged down there? Darren England had no problem with it. Looked as though there was a bit of a tussle there, and looked as though he was scragged, for want of a better word.
He was definitely dragged back. I think the referee was. I think he missed one there, to be honest. But like you say, or what we were saying there, I think, if the two centre halves can track the runners, because Burnley have got willing runners that want to go in behind, so it gives them that option of just turning the back four for Spurs round. But if the two centre halves can track those runs and nullify that, then the quality they've got going forward, they just need to get the ball to the feet of Kulusevski, Scon and Maddison, and then let them create, because they will be able to.
Pape Matar has just worked his way into the referee's notebook, like chucking the ball away after a free kick was given. Well, he's tried to set about those Burnley midfielders, trying to wrest some control, but that was cute, really. He kind of came flying in, hit the deck, free kick, and then he didn't give the ball back, and suddenly he's been booked.
And it's stupid, especially when you're a combative midfielder and you've got to go and make tackles for the next hour of this game. You're now really walking the tightrope.
So Spurs might just come to rue that one. Lovely ball, finds Maddison in space. In fact, it's helped through, and it will work its way through to Manor Solomon. He's got a run for Madoji on his left-hand side as he heads infield. Now Maddison midway inside the Burnley half, picks out Kulusevski on the right. Down the line goes Porro. Infield comes Kulusevski on the left foot. Now Basuma into Maddison, and then out to this and back a bit to Van der Ven. Romero will hold up possession now with Basuma, and they'll start again, Spurs here, but control. They're not trying to force something if it's not on, Matt.
No, they're not. And again, interestingly, the Spurs are playing that sort of like inverted fullback. So when Tottenham get it on this left-hand side, Destiny's just moving inside, and he can't get on the ball for me. As I'm looking at it as a fullback, and I'm like, you're going into midfield where it's so congested. But then you're trying to create space for someone else. Sorry,
I was going to say, James Trafford has just played that straight at Kulusevski. Maddison tries to work a shooting opportunity, pings the pass out to Solomon, left side of the box, looking to cut in perhaps, squares it into Son. Son trying to dig it out of his feet. It'll be Pape Matar, shot blocked. Maddison ricochets into Trafford's hands. All variations of fortune there, because it spooned up of Al-Dakhil, and in the end it took the sting out of it, but it could have just sent it anyway.
Could have done it. It was one of those where it was never really on to shoot, was it? Everyone was getting it stuck under their feet. Burnley had lots of players in the way, and there was no actual sort of like runs in behind to open it up.
So Spurs have won the ball back here. Burnley really clumsy football. Here comes Kulusevski, right side of the penalty area. A little shuffle, almost took him past Bayer. He has gone to the byline. Bayer still bit in, and eventually it's hooked clear by Connor Roberts, and Spurs retain possession. We will go around the grounds in just a moment, but Spurs enjoying a bit of a purple patch here. Van der Ven finds Destiny Udogie. Burnley fans trying to roar their team on, and it's Spurs who then, through Bissouma, just pushed the ball out of play. A good time with it, one apiece, to head around the grounds. Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Armin Nur is at Chelsea Forest.
Half an hour gone, Matt. It's still 0-0, but Chelsea should really have at least one in this game. They've had two good chances to do just that. Jackson played a lovely ball out to Sterling, who's drilled first time across the face of goal, saw Ben Chilwell on the end of it. He didn't get the solidities of touches, it flashed wide of the post. And then for Forest, they came close. They had a free kick from Gibbs White. Silva didn't deal with it too well. McKenna's header across, found Joe Worrell. He should have scored from 6 yards, but put it over the crossbar. 0-0 still.
So one apiece here. Destiny Udogie almost pinching that one off the toe of a Burnley player. At the Etihad, Man City Fulham, here's Josh Watson.
And it's Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. Julian Alvarez with the finish. It was a direct ball to Erling Haaland. He squared it across goal. Alvarez was there in acres of space. A one-touch finish into the bottom corner, and Fulham trail here. After half an hour, it's Fulham 0, Manchester City 1.
Spurs break up another Burnley attack. We've had a goal. Newport AFC Wimbledon, Stuart Smith.
Newport County 0, AFC Wimbledon 2. The goal on 30 minutes. Ball played forward, and Bujil did well to just secure something on that. And the ball broke loose. It went Tilly for what was nowhere near a 50-50, but he was strong enough to win the challenge. And from 25 yards out, let rip with an early shot with his left foot. 2 for him, 2 for Wimbledon. Newport 0, Wimbledon 2.
We'll get to Harry Symeou in a moment at the GTEC Stadium, but Spurs on the attack here. It's Maddison, picks out Kulusevski, knocked down the line for Son, cut back from the byline, it bounces clear, it will go out for the throw. Spurs are playing the squeeze here, still one apiece. There's been a goal at the GTEC though, Brentford against Bournemouth. Harry.
It's Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1, and it's nothing more than Bournemouth deserve. They've gone close on a couple of occasions through Ryan Christie, but it was Dominic Solanke who found the equaliser, marking his 100th Premier League appearance. He was played in down the left-hand side, he cut inside Ben Mee to create space for the shot, struck low and hard, wrong-footed Mark Flecken in the Brentford goal and levels the score here. So it's Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1, and as I say, nothing more than Andoni Iraiola's side deserve.
Here comes Spurs again. Maddison, he went for the outside of the foot cross. We will be into the Championship in just a moment with Queen's Park Rangers away at Middlesbrough. But it's Spurs who just, let's see this attack develop here for a moment. Romero, here's Maddison looking to spin it wide where there's plenty of space for Pape Matar. Passing to Son, now back to Bissouma. Maddison, lovely pass into Kulusevski on the edge of the penalty area. Maddison takes over, he's had it taken off his toe. Really good work from Burnley. Still one apiece here then, as Burnley look to clear. Let's go to the Riverside, where Middlesbrough are playing Queen's Park Rangers, and here's Mark Taylor.
Middlesbrough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Asmir Begovic has saved well at one end, while Paul Smith has played in a superb low cross for Rangers, but nobody gambled. Borough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Corner here for Spurs. Ball knocked behind as they press down this left-hand side. It was this time they seemed to get the combination right between Solomon and Udogie, and it took a toe out really to deny them a chance, but they have got the corner.
It did, but Tottenham are playing much better now, aren't they? It's constant pressure. It's the ball's been in the Burnley half probably for the last 5 minutes, and it's just wave after wave of attack.
34 minutes gone, one apiece. We will be at the Valley in just a moment. Spurs curl it in through Maddison, headed away first time. Bissouma wins it back on the edge of the box though, under pressure from Gudmundsson, trying to find a passing opportunity. And now it's pinged out to Maddison. Will go to a goal in just a moment at the Etihad. But here comes Spurs, played into the Peltier. Maddison goes for the bender. What a save! Brilliant save, Trafford. Beats it away on as far as Kulusevski. Second chance maybe here for Spurs. It's fired in by Porro in an offside position. Pape Matar, and it's an offside So Burnley survive, but there has been a goal at the Etihad. Man City Fulham, here's Josh.
Fulham 1, Manchester City 1. An instant response from Fulham. A corner from the right hand side was swung into the near post. Jimenez rose first to it, nodded it across goal, and at the back post Tim Ream was there in acres of space, tapped it home, and what a response for Fulham. It's Fulham 1, Manchester City 1.
I tell you what, it's a good job that Luis Mendes spends a lot of time watching Charlton. He's a very patient man. He's had to wait. We will get to him now. Charlton Fleetwood, Luis Mendes.
Yeah, 32 minutes gone. It's still Charlton 0, Fleetwood 1. The Addict fans have to be patient to wait for a response from Charlton because there's a cross towards the far side. Nearly finds Stockley as well behind for a Fleetwood corner. The Addicts did have one half moment, a low cross that was cleared by Holgate with May Lurkin, but it's not a happy valley at the moment. Still Charlton 0, Fleetwood 1.
Christian Romero sent sprawling by a challenge as Burnley went for that loft over the top again. They've had Tottenham a little bit panicky, haven't they, with those balls over the top, Matt?
Yeah, and I think that's why Burnley are playing it, because they know that's a weakness, and Company would have looked at that and said, where can we break Tottenham down? Where are they weakest? And that is definitely the channels. And it's like I said, it's not just a long hopeful punt into the corner, it's that pass down the side that allows their two forwards, who have got a bit of pace about them and got legs, to go and actually put pressure on Tottenham.
Right, Leyton Orient against Stevenage in League One. Here's Dave Victor.
And it's still Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 1. Both sides have had penalty appeals. The O's in the 31st minute with Freeman on the challenge on Ed Turns, who got booked for the descent. At the other end, Reid forcing a good save from Sol Bryn. It is Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 1.
Porro gets the shot away, just wriggles wide of that Burnley set of posts, and a really good break again. Solomon holding his chalk on this near side, Matt, stretching the play, coming in field. Plenty of Tottenham players pushing forward. They are causing problems,
and they are. They're creating more and more chances. It feels like they've got Burnley on the ropes here, and they just need to keep on pressing and just try and get that next goal, because it feels like it's coming. That's for sure.
Ball in midfield here with Spurs. That's a free kick for the shove by Maddison on Josh Cullen. Let's complete our wander around the ground. Sutton against Forest Green with Craig.
9 minutes to go to the break. It's been a lively first half, but it remains a 0-0. 9 minutes, a clearance on the line from the Forest Green Rovers goalkeeper Luke Daniels, straight from a Milson in-swinging corner. A few minutes after that, Patrick volleyed from just inside the area. After O'Brien cut back, the effort hit the bar. After 20 minutes, Forest Green Rover winger with a shot from just inside the area, cut back from McCann, but over. Half an hour went, and Taylor with a strike from a pass from the forward just beyond him, but it parried by Rose. And then 32 minutes, Taylor had a disallowed goal, played in by Deeney, but Taylor went too early. The offside flag went up before the rippled the back of the net. 37 minutes gone. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Sutton United 0.
That's Craig Wakeling. That game at Sutton, and that's a booming cross-fielder from Burnley across their own penalty area practically. Al Dakil's ball is cut out here by Bissouma, but then he has it taken off his toe by Goodmanson. Neither side have been able to really establish full control of midfield at the moment.
No, they haven't, but that's testament to the pressing and everything else that's going on. You know, it's a hot afternoon out there, and there's a lot of hard work that's going on from both teams, in possession and out of possession. But I think that's going to play into Spurs' hands, because they've got better quality, and I think that quality will shine when people start dropping off and don't quite close down as quickly, and they get a little bit more time on it. But at the moment, after 38 minutes, the Burnley players have got it in the legs to go and press and harry and try and win the ball back.
Yeah, one apiece here at Turf Moor, BBC Radio London Sport. Spurs on their travels, looking to extend their fine start to the season in the Premier League. That's a good tackle from Solomon on Goodmanson, who looked as though he had all the time in the world, but in he came to rob his opponent of the ball, and takes it down this left-hand side, forced back by the cover of Goodmanson to Van der Ven. Now Maddison, who's dropped into a kind of quarterback role, slides it out to Pape Matar. Burnley all inside their own half at the moment. Romero, though, under pressure from Amdouni, should I say, goes all the way back into his goalkeeper. And Vicario from just outside the D will play that forward, looking for Kulusevski. He's on his own though, and it's an easy header in the end for Jordan Bayer, and Connor Roberts goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Burnley will start again from deep here. Cullen manages to just flick that back to his goalkeeper. Song chasing down. Burnley playing out to Goodmanson, and then back in turn to Al Khadil. And it's... well, they're getting away with it here, Burnley. They're moving it fairly smartly. But Christian Romero then steps up, and suddenly Spurs maybe have the ball back. But Bayer then wins his tussle with Kulusevski. Just over 5 minutes of this first half remaining. One apiece here. As Postecoglou puts his hand up for offside, but there is none against Koleosho. And Burnley retain possession here, and they likewise are stretching the play. Cullen, neat ball in between the lads to Koleosho, breaking towards the penalty, tumbles from the challenge of Romero and gets a free kick here. And that's a booking, I think, in fact, for Dejan Kulusevski, who was back covering. And it was a crude foul, it's fair to say.
Well, he just sort of like tugged on his arm. It was pointless, really, because they had him completely outnumbered. He was running into a bit of a cul-de-sac. But again, I suppose typical sort of winger / forward tackle, very half-hearted, and it was a bit of a pointless one. But it's now given Burnley an opportunity to whip the ball in what they must be 20 yards outside the box. They've got all the big guns going forward, so Tottenham really do need to switch on here.
Yeah, Vicario hasn't had tons to do. Trafford made a good save just beforehand to again retain parity for Burnley at the other end. But Spurs at the side facing the delivery here. Looked like it might be clipped in. Goodmanson will bend it in back post. It's a free header for O'Shea, who knocked it back across goal. Spurs got it clear, and then Maddison is just panged in the back by El Dakil, and it's a free kick for Spurs. And a wry smile on your face there, Matt.
Well, I can understand why the Burnley fans are going mad. Literally, I think I didn't see what Burnley player it was, but I think they might have sneezed on Maddison, and he went down as though there was a I don't know, he'd been hit by Tyson Fury. So I think that's why the Burnley fans weren't impressed, but he bought himself a foul, which was much needed.
Van der Ven clipped by Foster, who then tried to go on and score, but the referee, Darren England, blew on his whistle, and it's just starting to get a little heated now. More niggly fouls, slightly more spiteful moments of this game. The tension is starting to show. And if these teams want to win, Burnley want to get off the mark, Spurs want to continue and pick up a fourth win from their opening 4 Premier League games. And again, they will play out from the back, and it puts pressure on because that pass from Romero back to Vicario wasn't a great one, and then the pass from Al Dakir wasn't a great one either, and Spurs have it back now. Oh, and then Maddison's ball isn't good. Toes it forward. Is he caught late by Goodmanson? Free kick goes Spurs' way. And it's another yellow card. It's opened Pandora's box in terms of that, has Darren England. He's cautioned a couple of players, and now they're just starting to kind of litter the place.
That's the thing, once he gives the yellow card to one player for a similar offence, he's got no choice but to now carry on brandishing the cards, isn't he? I think hopefully if Kulusevski or Sarr do make a slightly ill-judged tackle, he won't reach for the red. He'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because you don't like the games being ruined when someone gets sent off. But like you say, it's now those yellow cards have started, it doesn't seem like they're going to stop.
Pedro Porro tried to pick out Kulusevski on the right hand side, but just curled it over the Swede's head. So Burnley get the throw, and that's what the sarcastic jeers from the home supporters were all about. So one apiece at the moment here at Turf Moor. Industrial skyline, not industrial football these days, far more educated than that. One apiece here. What about the Riverside, where Queen's Park Rangers are the visitors to Middlesbrough, Mark Taylor?
Queen's Park Rangers have the 1-0 lead. Andre Dazelle has struck with a 25-yard special. He just hit it with his left foot. It flew in off the post, top corner. What a spectacular strike. Middlesbrough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
And in terms of spectacular, Burnley went for a first-time ball forward to their dangerous Luca Koleosho, who's headed forward by Spurs up to Destiny Udogie, who was then upended. And it would be spectacular, Matt, if Spurs could score from here. It's a fair way out, central position, but there are plenty of dead ball specialists with their eye on this.
Yeah, Maddison's got the ball. He's I'm not sure whether he's been encouraged to give it to someone else. What is that?
Basuma, yeah.
I wouldn't know that he had it in the locker to strike it from 30 yards out, but it looks like it's going to be Maddison's ball, and it's just one of those where it's so central, you sort of either got to shoot or sort of play it out wider.
He's killed it in for Romero to head down. Trafford was quickly out of his goal mouth to smother that one. 3 minutes of added time at the back end of the first half here at Turf Moor, where Spurs, having gone behind, have fought their way back into the contest, that's for sure. That was a fine goal from Heung-min Son, and they might well have another one here before half-time, although Pape Matar, stumbling over the ball, works it into a plethora of Spurs players. Son gets a shot away. Took a deflection. It'll be a corner.
Positive, though. Again, we know Son's got it in the locker to score from that distance. He's done it time after time for Tottenham over the last sort of few years. But it's ominous, isn't it? I think Tottenham are definitely on top.
We've got a goal. One of our other games, we will get to it in just a moment. Corner though for Spurs. Maddison just preparing the ball on the quadrant. Inside the 3 minutes of added time. One to be curled in. It's gone near post. It's been flicked away only as far as Basuma. Back to Maddison. Left side of the penalty area. Into the box it goes. Burnley on the back pedal. Wriggles to the byline. Fires it across. Kulusevski can't bring it down. Pape Matar can't get a shot away. Romero can! Romero can! What a hit from Christian Romero! Absolute rocket! Bullets into the top corner. Christian Romero cuts loose with a scorcher. And with a minute and a half of added time to play, it's Burnley 1, Spurs 2 in the first half.
What a strike that was. I mean, Maddison obviously did great down the left-hand side, didn't he, and whipped the ball in. Kulusevski had the first chance. Then it dropped, I think, to Sarr, who then tried to shoot, and it dropped to Romero, and you're sort of thinking, centre-half, not sure here, and he's absolutely whipped it in. I think it went in off the post and top corner. The keeper had absolutely no chance. What a strike.
So Spurs lead at Burnley here. There's been a goal at the Valley. Charlton Fleetwood, Louis Mendes.
And the Addicts are back on level terms. Charlton 1, Fleetwood 1. It's Alfie May with his third goal in 3 games. A pinpoint pass from the Wolves zone, H.M. Campbell. May does the rest. Charlton 1, Fleetwood 1.
And let's not leave Dave Victor out of this one either before half-time. Leighton Orient Stevenage.
And it's the visitors that doubled the advantage again from a set piece. This is the 5th corner for the visitors, taken by Butler, touched on by Piergianni, and it was Dan Sweeney to touch home. It is Leighton Orient 0, Stevenage 2.
So not so good for Orient, far better for Spurs. Oh, they're checking the goal here. Is VAR going to kill the moment for Spurs? Those away fans behind the goal are tense. They are waiting for Darren England to make the call. The man in the video referee's booth this afternoon at Stockley Park is John Brooks, assisted by Sean Massey-Ellis. So we wait for the decision. They're checking it. And if Christian Romero is robbed here, he has been deprived of an absolute ripper, Matt Lockwood.
He's not going to score many better than that, is he, in his career, that's for sure. But it's taken a long time, so it must be close. Either given it, it's a goal.
It is a goal. And thankfully for Spurs, that means they have added to the scoring. We are over the 3 minutes of added time here. The whistle will most likely sound soon. Jordan Bayer, here's the target. It's Destiny Udogie clears into the edge of the penalty area. Spurs don't want to concede, having just scored here. Connor Roberts, left hand side of the box, back to Sander Berger, manages to drift away from Kulusevski. Spurs need to keep their cool here. Pedro Porro and Kulusevski should clear the lines. There's been a goal in the game between Newport and AFC Wimbledon. Stuart Smith.
Yeah, in stoppage time at the end of the first half, Wimbledon didn't clear the ball at the far post. It went across the penalty area once more, and there was the deadly Will Evans to stab it home to make it Newport County 1, AFC Wimbledon 2.
James Maddison tumbles in the box. Ball played through. Not sure whether he was actually clipped there. Either way, we are into the 50th minute, 5 minutes of added time at the back end of this first half. Can't be much more time to play. As Connor Roberts bangs that one down the touchline, Christian Romero cuts it out. Spurs looking to edge their way to the half-time whistle, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, they finished the half off very, very strongly, and I think actually Maddison was clipped there. You could see by his reaction, it wasn't a dive. I think he might have just had his the back of his boot trodden on as he tried to get played through. Obviously the Burnley fans didn't agree. They were chanting not a very nice word to him, but I think Ange Postecoglou will be delighted with how Tottenham have responded to going a goal down so early.
And they've got the ball back here. It's not over yet in this first half. Solomon into the pouch area, goes wide towards Kulusevski. The cross is blocked, wins it back though for a second bite of the cherry. Udogie takes a touch on the apex of the pouch area, left hand side. Back to Kulusevski. Can he spin this one into somewhere dangerous? Little flick into the path of Kulusevski from Maddison. The whistle is in the mouth of Darren England. And Matt Lockwood, that is half time.
Yeah, and it was I think it was a good half for Tottenham. Like you say, they started off shaky, let a goal in, but their response and their positive play and their driving runs forward, with the quality they've got going forward, they were always going to score. I think Ange Postecoglou will be delighted with that first half.
So Lyle Foster's opener sent Tottenham behind on just 4 minutes, but they responded. Hong Min Son, should I say, clipping the ball brilliantly over Trafford, and then right at the end of the half, Christian Romero ripping the top corner with an absolute scorcher. And at half-time at Turf Moor, it's Burnley 1, Tottenham 2.
Let's go back to our commentary game for the second half this afternoon. It's Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur. Matt Newsom alongside Matt Lockwood. What's going to happen in our second 45? You're going to guide us through it, chaps.
We'll do our best. Just chatting to a couple of Burnley fans at half-time. They were saying, do they not stay on their feet, this Tottenham team? But it's the cuteness of the modern game, isn't it, Matt? The dark arts are upon us across the field.
It's just everywhere, isn't it? You just get touched and you go down. The referees always give it. But Burnley have made a couple of substitutions here.
Yeah, let's pick our way through them. So Josh Brownhill has come on for Sander Berger. I certainly spotted that one.
And then Goodmanson was the other one who came off.
Yeah, Goodmanson's off.
And then it was.
And they've brought on a defender, I think, in Hannes Delcroix.
Yeah.
So maybe just looking to tie things up at the back there. Spurs not going to go long on that occasion for looking for Kulusevski, but Burnley win it back. And it's their turn to try and play out from the back. And Spurs will attack the end upon which their supporters are housed. As that ball straight at Maddison, he can't quite bring it down. Brownhill hooks it forward, more in hope rather than design. And Van der Ven as well, just to hold off Foster and retain possession for Spurs in the shape of a throw. So no changes for the Spurs side. Burnley have tweaked some of their positions, maybe just to try to stop Spurs from getting the run in, because they were enjoying plenty of possession, weren't they, in that
it clearly shows who the happier of the two managers was at half time. Company's obviously seen something that he didn't like in that first half. I mean, to be fair, I didn't think Burnley were getting pulled apart and ripped open, but he's obviously brought on another centre half to go three at the back, or it looks like it's actually a back five really.
That's a lovely ball. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Porro into Kulusevski. Son is in behind it, just overruns it, and Trafford was out sharply. But you're right, I mean, that was shredding Burnley apart, but you're right, for the first half it wasn't like that.
It wasn't, no. I mean, like you say, they bring a third centre half on and then they get through even easier than they did in the first half. But it was actually, I think O'Shea did quite well to get near to Son, just to make him have that heavy touch, because Son knows that he needed to get it past the defender to have any chance of scoring. And just that touch took it away from him. And to be fair, Trafford's starting position was excellent, and he came out and dived on it.
Yeah, for all the money. A player who had not played in the Premier League before this season. He's looked pretty adept. Van de Ven holds off Foster, who's just starting to show his frustration as the Dutchman starts to win that particular tussle. Out on that left-hand side, Spurs attack through Solomon, who comes infield, finds Bissouma, who then in turn to Pape Matar, and then out to this right-hand side for Kulusevski. 2 to beat, plays it into the penalty area. Porro touches it back to Kulusevski. Kulusevski squares it, smashed at goal, but a great block by Bayer. Then a little bit of a mix-up between two Spurs players. Kulusevski retains possession. Spurs keep hold of the ball, but they've been forced out, and maybe just a chance to regroup here. Still 2-1 they lead.
There wasn't a lot of space, was there, for Tottenham to work in there, but they're so good with all those quality players. As we've said up front, they can create a chance out of nothing and out of no space. And even though they were working within probably a 5-yard area, they still managed to sneak a little chance.
Udogie into Son, left side of the box. Udogie's continued his run. It'll go back to Solomon, trying to whip his foot round the ball here, maybe here, down to the byline for Maddison. Maddison checks back, sails his man for a dummy, goes low near post. Good save, Trafford again. Frustrated look on the face of Maddison. Great fashioning of the ball to work the chance, and the goalkeeper equal to it.
Yeah, I think there was a few disgruntled Tottenham players in the box wanting Maddison to square it to them. And Maddison was saying, well, I didn't really have a choice. You were all blocked off. I had to shoot, really. And fair play, he probably did, but Trafford got down well and saved it at his near post.
Jordan Bayer hoofing it clear. Foster's got it back. Udogie's got it back as Foster failed to really link up with the play that time. And now Vicario will play it out to Van de Ven, who has since his move from Wolfsburg already proved a regular in Postecoglou's thoughts. Porro, he has the ball nipped off him that time by Dequois. Spurs trying to spread the play. Udogie is offering himself on that left-hand side and will just slot a square pass into Bissouma. Inside the centre circle is Matar out to Kulusevski. Holds it up on that right-hand side. Ball in field to Pape Matar, looking for a forward run. So also a little bit lateral here from Spurs, who are just being forced back. Is that a foul in midfield? No, it's not. Burnley have got the ball back here. We will go to Stamford Bridge in just a moment, just making sure that Spurs aren't caused any undue duress by that one, as Romero lifts it clear. Here's Armaneur. Forest at Chelsea this afternoon. The Blues, well, there's been a goal.
Well, it's not good news for Chelsea. Forest have taken the lead inside of 3 minutes of the second half. Conor Gallagher loses possession midway inside his own half. Tao Awani had pounced on it. Caicedo couldn't get near him. He played a lovely nutmeg pass into the path of Anthony Elanga, who came off and injured Danilo in the first half. He calmly tucked it home past Robert Sanchez. Forest fans go berserk, and they lead 1-0 after 5 minutes into the second half.
Goodmanson! He almost had another goal here to follow that one. Forest leading at Chelsea then, where for years it was a really unhappy hunting ground, and a happy one for Chelsea against the team from Nottingham. But not at the moment. Really just showing a little bit of their threat. It was a cracking effort, wasn't it, that whistled over the top.
Yeah, it looked like it just sort of bobbled up on him, Brownhill, as he struck it, and it then got that sort of like dip and whip on it, and it wasn't that far over the bar at all.
Maddison gives the ball away. Foster has it, tries to play it into the box. Spurs get plenty of numbers back. Udogie trying to work something with Solomon here. Solomon's galloped beyond his man. Lovely little turn to get away from Al-Dakhil, although the throw has gone Burnley's way. Over on that far side, the two managers, Ange Postecoglou, dressed maybe like a dad at a barbecue. It's probably a bit harsh. Vincent Kompany, he's all trainers, blazer and suit trousers. Two different approaches. It's Postecoglou who's in front. His side are in front at the moment. Porro chasing that one back into his own back four, and opts for safety, turns it out for a throw.
Yeah, it's good work back from Porro there. He was bombing forward, and then they lost possession, but then he had to get on his bike, and it was a sort of a 50-yard run back to get back in at right back there, which he did really, really well. And then when he got it, he actually just did the right thing and just kicked it out of play.
Koleosho causing problems down the left. The ball into the middle. Amdouni didn't make a clean touch. Bayer wins it back for Burnley. They are putting on the squeeze here. 2-1 Spurs lead. Burnley trying to change that. Brownhill exchanging passes with Foster, who's into the box, then knocks it back to Cullen. Brownhill can't get a shooting opportunity because Spurs have swamped the penalty area, and then Umko's Destiny Udogie is then rugby tackled by Foster, having done the hard work of winning the ball off the Burnley man. And that one wouldn't have looked out of place just up the M62, would it? That one, Lyle Foster.
I was going to say, you've definitely seen a few of those tackles over the years, haven't you? So, but I think what I'd like to see at the moment is where Burnley have changed formation. There's so much room in fullback areas for Tottenham. So instead of their fullbacks going in and being inverted, I'd like to see them go wide because they would get so much ball at the moment.
Kulusevski's enjoying some of that ball on the right side of the power chair, trying to wriggle into the box, tried to chop it back onto his left foot, but ball taken off him, and they will look to clear through Connor Roberts. Kulusevski blocks that clearance. It'll bobble out of play right down by the corner flag. It'll be a Burnley throw, but they're being forced back inside their own end, and now in England just making the point to Burnley that's not where the ball went out of play, and Ange Postecoglou's shake of the head. I don't know whether that was the missed opportunity or the little bit of gamesmanship from Burnley there. What's your thoughts? Oh, mind you, here we go. Spurs have got it back now. Udogie plays in Maddison! Maddison! What a hit that is! Give him an inch and he will take a mile. And Spurs add to their lead. Burnley 1, Spurs 3, and Maddison continues his red-hot form. Beautiful goal.
It was. To be fair, that's been 3 really good goals, isn't it, from Tottenham today? All completely different. You know, you've got the guile of Son with the first one. You just got Romero smashing that one in, and Maddison, as soon as he gets it out of his feet there, I think it was actually quite similar to the one he had in the first half, where you could see what he was trying to do and bend it in that corner. And the one in the first half, he didn't quite get it where he was aiming. But that one, the keeper had absolutely no chance. As soon as he struck it, it was in the whole way. Just seeing the replay now from sort of behind the goal. It's a great strike, great finish, and Tottenham thoroughly deserve it.
Yeah, bends it, it's arcing out, isn't it? And then it comes back in outside the grasp of James Trafford, and those Spurs fans behind the goal had a perfect view of that one as it whistled into the far corner. And Maddison now just calling for a little bit of calm. Spurs have built themselves a comfortable position here. That's if it ever can be comfortable at Turf Moor, Matt.
Must be something to do with that number 10 shirt. It's got some magic in it, I think.
Son's won that back for Spurs, and they really can take this game by the scruff of the neck here as the South Korean looks to take on Dara O'Shea. Now Maddison down by the byline. Tricky footwork. Manages to hold off Bayer initially, and then Bayer does a little chop back on him, but he's given it straight to Pape Matar. Porro is the target on this right-hand side. Won back by Connor Roberts. Porro puts his shoulder in and wins it back for Spurs. Clips the ball over the top. Hannes de Croix wins it back though with Kulusevski lurking. And now it's Burnley's turn to break with Amdouni. That's a lovely ball. Looking for the man in behind. Foster takes it into the box, and it's a brilliant save from Vicario. It took a flick off Romero. He reached up and tipped it over the crossbar. God, it's end to end at the moment.
Oh, it's an incredible save. Absolutely incredible save. I mean, Romero did amazingly well to actually catch up with the forward and to even get a slight block on it. But sometimes when you get that block, it puts the goalkeeper off. But oh my God, what a save that was.
It's almost a reaction in mid-air, isn't it? Corner to come will be with Stuart Smith at Newport AFC Wimbledon in just a moment, but corner to come from this left-hand side. Spurs with defending to do, is belted into the box, hoofed away by Udogie. And Al Dakil will recycle it and go back to his goalkeeper. Goal at Newport for Wimbledon. Here is Stuart Smith.
Newport County 2, AFC Wimbledon 2. 10 minutes into the second half, a disarray in the Wimbledon penalty area. The ball bounced up in the air. The goalkeeper came, didn't get anywhere near it, and Bogle just lobbed him from 6 yards out. It's Newport 2, Wimbledon 2.
So Wimbledon all square there. Kulusevski clears the ball for Spurs as Burnley come forward again. It's almost as if the pendulum has swung back with that third goal for Spurs.
It's interesting, isn't it, how the momentum changes so quickly in games just because a goal goes in. But I think Burnley have got to throw the kitchen sink at them now. They're 3-1 down at home. You can hear the fans aren't happy. I mean, that was a tackle they don't think was a foul on Kulusevski, and I think Brownhill got booked for that. But I think we will see a really open game now, and I think there'll be, whether Burnley will change formation again, I'm not sure, but there'll definitely be gaps that Tottenham can utilise on the counter-attack, that's for sure.
Kulusevski picks himself up off the deck. Josh Brownhill might feel he was a little harshly treated there. So we await the resumption of play. Man City Fulham, Josh Watton.
54 minutes gone here, it's still Manchester City 2, Fulham 1. It started pretty much similar to the first half, both sides enjoying possession, neither of them doing too much to trouble the opposition defence. 54 minutes played, Man City 2, Fulham 1.
Tottenham happy just to push the ball around at the back. Maddison under pressure from Hamdoui, goes back to his goalkeeper. Let's go to the GTEC Stadium. Brentford against Bournemouth. Harry Symeou.
It's still Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1. 2 chances for Brentford at the start of this second half, and Buemo missed a sitter from 7 or 8 yards out when he fired wide left-footed, and Johan Visser has just hit the post after some wonderful skill to create room for a shot. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1.
Here comes Spurs again. Manor Solomon back to Bissouma on the edge of the penalty. Into the box he goes left instead of taking on the shot. Udogie from a standing start, back to Bissouma. Spurs working a little 1-2 here to the byline. Bissouma, can he chop it back? Tries to push it through the legs of Bayer, who then hits the deck, and it's a free kick to Burnley. Let's go into the Championship. Middlesbrough QPR, Mark Taylor.
Still 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Asmir Begovic has had to make another save in the QPR goal. Sinclair Armstrong has raced away for Rangers, but Seny Dieng narrowed the angle. Borough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
So Seny Dieng foiling his old club. Free kick here for Burnley. We will go down to the Valley in just a moment. One in the air by Van de Ven that time. Udogie now for Tottenham. Looking for a fourth to really kill the game off and really give Ange Postecoglou's side a buffer they have been seeking. Romero rolls the pass into Son, and then a ball looking for Solomon in behind here. Will just outrun him. He raises a hand to say, nice idea. Let's go to the Valley. Louis Mendes is at Charlton Fleetwood.
12 minutes into the second half, still Charlton 1, Fleetwood 1. The Addicts have been brighter at the start of this second period. Tyrese Campbell seen a shot palmed wide. Alfie May's effort deflected off target. Penalty appeals for Kem Campbell after he was taken out in the area, waved away. Still Charlton 1, Fleetwood 1.
How about Leyton Orient Stevenage, Dave Victor?
It is still Leyton Orient trailing by 2-0. They've made 4 substitutions in the second half. They've had plenty of possession, but they haven't created so much as a half chance. Whilst at the other end, Sol Bryn almost showed too much of it to Jordan Roberts. He got away with it. It is Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 2.
We'll finish our roundup in just a moment. Bissouma bombing forward though for Tottenham, looking to pick out that killer pass on the edge of the box to Son. Son exchanging passes with Maddison. The back heel didn't come off. Bissouma low through a crowd. Good save from Trafford. Right, let's complete our roundup. League 2, Sutton Forest Green is Craig Wakely.
Where it's 55 minutes gone, it's still 0-0. Aidan O'Brien with a shot from just outside the area, but it went wide, missing out on a second goal in 2 games for the home side. And then on 49 minutes, Deeney was in a bit of space with a shot from outside the box. I think he could have gone a bit further, but Rose got down to save. At 57 minutes now, it's Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 0.
Thanks very much, Craig. Tottenham leading by 3-1 here in your commentary game at Turf Moor. BBC Radio London Sport. The far post, of course, to follow all the reaction from today's games. Ball played over the top for Son, brings it down on the chest, can't get away. Though from Dara O'Shea, who gets the final touch, puts it behind for a corner. But Spurs are just starting to show their class at the moment, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, with the change that Burnley just made, they've sort of gone 5 at the back, 2 in midfield now and 3 up front, so there's even more room in midfield for the Tottenham playmakers to get on the ball and to create something. And it's interesting because where the wide players for Spurs, Solomon and Kulusevski, they're actually taking the 2 wing backs back, and then you've got 3 centre halves marking Son. So it's they're so outnumbered in midfield. It's that's where Tottenham can really hurt Burnley now.
Corner in, it's a flat one, headed away at the near post by Al Dakil. Porro squares it to Bissouma, dinks a ball over the top, looking for that run of Madison. Can he draw it under his control? Under pressure from Al Dakil, plays it back to Solomon, who's on the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. Bissouma's lurking on the edge of the box. Bissouma takes a touch, rolls it into his feet, right-footed shot, wide of the target. It was always going wide, to be fair. A goal kick to Burnley. Just under half an hour to play here. There's been another goal at the Etihad. Man City, Fulham, Josh Watton.
Yeah, it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 1. It's Erling Haaland with a finish. It's a lovely ball forward to Julian Alvarez. He flicks it through to Erling Haaland. One touch to take it under control, and the second to do what he does best, into the bottom corner, and this game might just be beyond Fulham now. Manchester City 3, Fulham 1.
Spurs have it. Udogie finds Solomon. They're really pouring forward, looking for a fourth. It's square back to Son. Beautiful worked goal again. 4 high quality strikes from Spurs, picking Burnley off ruthlessly, and Son bangs the ball into the back of the net and doubles his tally for the season. Spurs well and truly up and running here at Turf Moor.
I think you summed up perfectly there. Ruthless. Tottenham today, when they get a chance, they are finishing it off. We know they've got the quality, and Son and Maddison, they just look like they're enjoying themselves at the moment. It's I think you can see the gulf, can't you, between Burnley walking away with the Championship last year and now stepping up into the Premier League. It is just a completely different animal, and Tottenham are thoroughly enjoying their afternoon now and at Turf Moor.
Yeah, tricky, rocky ride initially, particularly when Lyle Foster finished off after Burnley easily got in behind, but Spurs have rallied, recovered, and well and truly stamped their authority on this game. Son's first was a piece of art. The second was the final brushstrokes on a team production. And the celebrations as he goes to celebrate with Manor Solomon, because it was just a perfectly weighted ball. And we were saying, weren't we, earlier on in the game, these combinations will come, and well, they're coming. It's his present tense.
And there's probably someone in Germany looking back with a bit of envy at the moment, thinking, oh, did I leave too soon?
Yeah, Harry Kane enjoying his Bavarian Steins these days. Oktoberfest almost upon him. As Burnley, who have made a change, Nathan Redmond coming on to try and add a bit of pace and experience to matters here. Bayer's gone off on a storming run and then whipped a perfect ball out to Connor Roberts in space on this left-hand side. Burnley haven't put the cue in the rack yet. They might be down, but they're certainly not out. Brownhill smothered though, swamped by Kulusevski, and Kulusevski playing it at another gear here. Charges forward under pressure from Hannes de Croix. Manages to wriggle clear of Al Dakil, and somehow he was able to get clear of the defenders, but eventually de Croix comes back and makes the tackle. But for a moment I thought he was going to steam his way downfield.
He was outnumbered though, wasn't he? There was no one really busting a gut to get up with him and help him, and he had 2 players on him the whole run he had. He did well keeping it as long as he did, to be fair, but Tottenham have just, like, after the first 4 minutes, Tottenham have just looked up for it today, haven't they? They've had a couple of dodgy moments at the back, but going forward they've looked very, very good.
It's Koleosho under pressure from Romero, and the Argentine World Cup winner has the class just to get away from his man. Pape Matar takes the pass from Kulusevski. Now they're knocking the ball around. It's almost one touch. It's almost first touch stuff, isn't it? Ping, ping, ping from Tottenham, because their tails are up.
It is, and I said it before the game, didn't I, about the previous management, and now with Postecoglou with his philosophy and attacking and taking, it looks like they've taken the shackles off. And they just say, yeah, look, you've got the quality, go and play.
Oh, a lovely ball in for Son, who's on a hat-trick. Son drills it near post. Another craftsman's finish and a craftsman's goal. Tottenham Hotspur pulling out all the stops. Burnley well and truly have been thrashed here on home turf. A rude awakening in the Premier League as Son picks up a treble, and Tottenham are playing with all the pomp that their heritage and history demands.
I think it sums it up, the fact we're on 66 minutes and the Burnley fans are flocking out of the stadium. They've had enough. Again, it was a great run, a great pass, and an excellent finish.
Yeah, he's been a torturer of Burnley in his career, has Heung-min Son, and he's got a hat-trick here. There's been a goal at Sutton Forest Green Rovers. Here's Craig Wakeling.
And it's the number 27, the midfielder Harvey Bunker, rounding off a wonderful play from the away side. He shot from just outside the area. The goalkeeper for Sutton could do nothing about it, Rose, and it's Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 1.
So Ivan Perisic coming on for Mano Solomon, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is also being introduced. Pape Matar is the player who makes way for him, and well, they're going to come on with the job done. It's possibly one of the easiest jobs that those two will have all season.
I think you or I could go on and Tottenham would still win, wouldn't they? So
maybe not me, but yeah.
But I think that was a good. Yeah, I think that was a good decision though, because obviously Sar's on a yellow card, isn't he? So he doesn't need to get risk anything and getting sent off. Obviously Højbjerg's a fantastic player who's been a stalwart for Tottenham over the last few years. So I think that was some wise decisions there from Postecoglou.
Yeah, Jacob Brun Larsen is the player who's come on for Luca Koleosho, who has shown that he's a burgeoning talent. Lots of this Burnley side are. I mean, Vincent Kompany will clearly be really disappointed with the way they've fallen away, but they've come under the pump from a team who have made a flying start to the season. But to come into the Premier League, and they won't want patronising comments like this, but to come into the Premier League and try to play like this, it's brave, isn't it? It's brave, it's gutsy for a newly promoted team.
Well, the thing is, it worked for them last year, and that's the manager's philosophy, and he's not going to deviate from that. And I think when you're playing the top teams, they haven't got the quality to beat them playing this way. It's when they play the teams around them, and those sort of I'm not going to call them relegation sort of like candidates, but they're the teams you've got to beat. I'm not even going to name names, but we all know who I'm talking about. And if they can play this way and beat those guys, then they should be fine.
Brun Larsen with a chance to stretch his legs. Lovely little chop back to bring that under his spell. Drifts one wide for Redmond. Redmond's got a man outside of him, and then back comes Bissouma. Just snuffs out the danger. Cullen keeps it alive for Burnley. Ball knocked down the line for Redmond here from the right side of the box. Cuts it back to Foster. Romero stood his ground, and in the end Bissouma will just watch that ball trickle behind, and it will be a Spurs goal kick. 20 minutes to play. The game is done, and as you say, there are some Burnley fans who probably got accustomed to dishing out these kind of results on other teams, and maybe it's tasted a little bit bitter this afternoon.
I think sometimes clubs like Burnley probably prefer to be in the Championship from a fan's perspective, because you win every week. You come into the Premier League, and when you're losing every week, and especially when you lose heavily like this, and I don't think Burnley have been massively outplayed, but it's just been that last final bit of quality. The chances that Tottenham have created, they've scored every one of them, because they've fallen to people like Son and Maddison, who are just excellent players.
Spurs bring the ball away from their own end of the field. Just less than 20 to play. It's Højbjerg who moves it into space for Porro, who at times last season looked a little bit like a player lost, maybe not quite getting to grips with the system, or feeling as though he was wanted by the staff, but he's certainly thriving under Postecoglou, and so are most of these Tottenham players. Maddison's free roll, I mean, we've had everybody popping up in that kind of false nine sort of role. That fluid attack, for all it's not a figurehead, makes teams really difficult to pick up.
But I think that's the beauty of Maddison though, because he's got that football brain and he wants the ball all the time. You can see whenever Tottenham have got the ball, he's calling for it. He's trying to get into those little holes where he can get on the ball and affect the game. So if he's not getting it when he's playing up top next to Son, he drops a little bit deeper. Then if he doesn't get it there, he drops a little bit deeper again. But he's obviously been given that freedom by the manager to go and do that, because he trusts him. He knows the game, and he's obviously played fantastically well today, and scored a lovely goal, and he's been instrumental in the way Spurs are playing now.
And Son makes way for Richarlison, so we will have a figurehead, a centre point for Spurs in this final 18 and a half minutes, plus whatever is added on at the end. Richarlison, who got himself off the mark in the League Cup, the Carabao Cup in midweek, would love to get in on the act here. The party time in Lancashire.
Yeah, Richarlison's going to be desperate to get on the score sheet, isn't he? He's just hoping now that the Tottenham haven't sort of just said, right, 5-1's enough, let's shut up shop and not really attack.
5-1 here to Spurs, 18 to play. There's been a goal at the Riverside. Mark Taylor.
Middlesbrough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Jack Colback has just fired in an unstoppable shot after great work from Paul Smith, who kept on going, delivered the centre. Borough couldn't cope. There was Colback. What a shot, what a goal. Middlesbrough 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Yeah, Jack Colback, ex-Newcastle and Sunderland, so that one will have gone down like a lead balloon on Teesside. Perfect for Rangers, though. Middlesbrough's disappointing start to the season post the playoffs last year continues. Bissouma, who's just blatantly dragged back there by the shirt as he managed to meander his way through midfield. So Højbjerg back to Romero. Yeah, for Richarlison's sake, I mean, Spurs have simmered things down a bit, which, yeah, although they might be on the attack here, and Udogie has got some space to exploit. He's got Perisic up ahead of him. Perisic just dances beyond Bayer, who held on. And Jordan Bayer will get a yellow card for that particular offence. We've got a free kick on the far side. While we wait for that to be taken, let's get over to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea Forest, Ahmed Nur.
73 gone. Forest still leading through that Elanga goal early in the second half, and at the moment they're struggling, as you can hear, to really give Forest any real worry in the penalty area. A moment of concern that was Nicholas Jackson going down in the box after Matt Turner sort of stumbled into him, but he was going away from goal. Offside was the call, no penalty awarded then. Really, it hasn't been easy. They're finding the red wall hard to break down, and still find themselves a goal down.
There's been a goal at the Etihad. Josh Watton has been busy this afternoon. Man City Fulham.
Yeah, it's Manchester City 4, Fulham 1. A penalty converted by Erling Haaland. It was Julian Alvarez who was 1-on-1 through on goal. He was bundled over by Issa Diop. It was a clumsy tackle. There were no complaints from the Fulham defence. Haaland put the ball on the spot, brushed off the penalty missed last week against Sheffield United, and smashed it into the top corner. 71 minutes played. Manchester City 4, Fulham 1.
Ball just outrunning Maddison as he chased it to the byline. It'll be a goal kick to Burnley. Let's catch up with matters at the G-Tech Stadium. Brentford against Bournemouth. Harry Symeou.
It's still Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1, but Brentford just went so close to finding the lead. Keane Lewis-Potter turning an effort towards goal from about 2 yards out, and somehow he's hit the post. But it's still Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1. The Bees pushing at the moment.
So 5-1 here to Spurs. Drama at the Valley, Louis Mendes.
Charlton have a penalty. It's Charlton 1, Fleetwood 1. Alfie May about to take it in front of the covered end. Enciala it was who wiped out Blackett Taylor. Alfie May just waiting for the referee's whistle. Here it comes. Alfie May already scored this afternoon. Steps up, sends down the middle, and it goes in. Looks like the keeper got something on it. Alfie May had a word with him after, but Charlton do lead. It's Charlton 2, Fleetwood 1.
Yes, for Charlton. As Pedro Porro comes in back post, drills that one wide, a sixth almost beckoning itself for Tottenham there. Leyton Orient versus Stevenage, Dave Victor.
And the O's still trail by 2-0 despite all the substitutions and the possession that they've had in the second half. They've only forced one shot of note. It was off Ethan Galbraith with a strike deflected wide. Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 2.
Could be a long trip back for FC Wimbledon from Rodney Parade. They're at Newport this afternoon. Stuart Smith.
Yeah, still Newport County 2, Wimbledon 2. All Wimbledon could do in the second half is defend. They've really got nothing together at all. It's been all Newport County. They've got chances. They should have done better. The only option that Wimbledon got is when the ball falls to James Tilley. He's had a header saved by the keeper and a shot that came off the post. Newport 2, Wimbledon 2.
Goal at the G-Tech Stadium. Brentford Bournemouth, Harry.
It's Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2. It was a poor defensive pass from Rico Henry, pounced on by Tavernier, the substitute. He rolled it across the box, and there was Brooks to take a touch, sat the goalkeeper down on the ground and smashed it home from a couple of yards out. Bournemouth take the lead. The two substitutes combined just moments after Brentford hit the woodwork. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2.
So Spurs still leading by 5-1. The ball just deflecting behind for a corner. Burnley just trying to find something to snag, to give those fans something to cheer. Spurs will want to keep them out here, Matt.
Yeah, I think Burnley have changed formation again. They've gone back to a back four. I think Kompany got it wrong at half time. Going to a back five just didn't work. They just completely outnumbered themselves in midfield, and Tottenham took advantage of it.
Whoa, flick there as a cross from Brownhill came in. Beaten away by Vicario. Let's get our last update of our trip around the ground. Sutton Forest Green Rovers with Craig.
73 minutes gone, Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. The side separated by a Harvey bunker, 62-minute strike from just outside the box. Sutton have offered little in response. They do have some subs coming on though. Kashket, Angol and Ungessen just about to come on. It is Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 1.
Meanwhile here, 5-1 to Spurs. Corner comes in, headed back into the mix by O'Shea. Burnley had a chance there. Dakil is fired back, blocked at close range that time by Romero, who then powers the header away. Connor Roberts gets it down. Josh Cullen tried to pick out a teammate. It's been won back by Jack Cork here as Burnley apply a bit of pressure. With the game gone, they've seemingly roused themselves, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, again, that's all the fans here ask for.
Oh, we wait for this corner. There's been a goal. Orient Stevenage, Dave Victor.
And a third for the Bow, and it came in the 78th minute. Nick Freeman, who was on loan with the O's a couple of seasons ago, with a shot that went in off the underside of the bar. Leyton Orient 0, Stevenage 3.
A bad afternoon for Orient as Al Dakil slashes his half volley wide, and it'll be a goal kick to Spurs. 12 to go, plus stoppages here at Turf Moor. And while some of the fans have decided they've had enough, Matt, actually their side, Burnley, have probably shown their best patch of the game since that first 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, and like we said, it's going to be tougher than this season, but these games against the top teams aren't where they're going to be judged. They're going to be judged against the teams around them. And from what I've seen today, I think they've got more than Sheffield United. They've got more than... possibly Everton. I think that there are definitely going to be three worse teams than Burnley in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, it's possibly a game that won't define their season, it's fair to say. As Brun Larsen picks it up left-hand side here for the Clarets, looking to cut inside. He's bent one into Brownhill on the edge of the box. Brownhill! Oh, he was wrong-footed, Vicario, as it took a deflection, and it trickled just wide of his right post from where he's standing, and it'll be a corner for Burnley. So Tottenham that time, it flicked off Van der Ven and he was stranded.
It's so hard, isn't it, the goalkeeper? As soon as that ball gets deflected, you've got no chance.
Ball back post here, looking for Cork, is it? It's O'Shea in the end who gets the header, and it has gone behind for a goal kick. So Spurs, just over 10 minutes remaining to see out time here in a game that they trailed on 4 minutes. Lyle Foster, after that they took control, and we've seen some wonderful football. Son's hat-trick in particular, Maddison letting fly with a scorcher. Tottenham have been the side in the ascendancy, but Burnley are looking to make their presence felt towards the back end here. Free kick on the edge of the box for the foul from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
That was harsh. I thought he got the ball. I mean, he came sliding in from the side, but it looked like he got the ball and it played out wide. Just seeing the replay now, maybe I was wrong, but
yeah, he's won the ball, hasn't he? The ball, even the trajectory of the ball. Oh, maybe not, actually.
What do we know?
Yeah, what do we know? To be fair, it took the third replay.
Yeah.
The first one looked as if it was correct. And of course, Christian Romero's absolute ripper for Spurs. After a couple of shots were attempted that they couldn't quite get away, finally one sizzled into the top corner. So Son's hat-trick, Maddison getting on the score sheet, and Romero too. 5 wonderful strikes. With Ipasuma working it as the draft excluder here in this wall. Free kick right on the edge of the box. Brun Larsen behind it. Vicario just waiting to see whether he's going to have to dive here, as it's well measured right into the wall. And then Roberts clips one wide for Brun Larsen. They get the ball back in from this left-hand side. He tries to chop it onto his right foot. Redmond will have a dink, curls one in. It's a good position here, although it's headed straight at Vicario in the Tottenham goal.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything to worry about from a Spurs point of view. Defended well, marking their men, getting touch tight, not letting anyone get a run on them. It's all that you can ask for your defenders to do. Mark your man and stay with the runner. And they did it well, and the ball looped nicely into the goalkeeper's hands.
And Spurs living dangerously, even at 5-1 up here. And it takes Pierre Højbjerg's clever touch to find Mickey van der Ven, and then Maddison just with a little shuffle of the body and using his body brilliantly to get the ball, shield the ball away from any traffic, and then picks out a lovely pass for Kulusevski on this right hand side. Burnley, who've had the ball at the opposite end of the field, just being tested at the back here. Kulusevski tries to clip it back, in came Perisic. It looped up just for a second as though he might have made a contact, but in the end Trafford went in amongst the boots and claimed it.
Yeah, I think Kulusevski was looking for Richarlison. Richarlison made his run towards the goal and then checked out just to get a couple of yards off his defender, and you could see what Kulusevski was trying to do, but the Villa backline blocked it, and they stopped that attack again.
It's Burnley's turn to live a little dangerously at the back. Delcroix approaching the edge of his penalty area. Ball forward to Brownhill, who under pressure from Pedro Porro has lost it. Kulusevski, he's won it back. Brownhill put his foot in. Robust challenge, and Spurs are on the back pedal here, and they are almost outnumbered until Richarlison's got back into the frame. Brun Larsen squares it onto Brownhill, looking for the 1-2 here with Cork. Little ball in behind, and in the end Højbjerg got a toe to it and helps it back to his goalkeeper. I mean, it wasn't called a back pass. I don't think it was a back pass, but it could have been given as a back pass.
If it had meant it as a back pass, then that was very well disguised. It was a tackle back pass.
So Vicario looking to clear this ball anywhere he can find it. Richarlison looking to spin his man, but a toe in there takes it away from him, and Burnley have it back through Redmond. 6.5 to play. Burnley 1, Tottenham 5. Strong display from Ange Postecoglou's side here up at Turf Moor. Could have been a potential banana skin. You know, they made a good start, losing the cup. Burnley come maybe smelling a bit of blood, but it's been nothing like that, hasn't it? It's been really controlled and ruthless.
It has, but in recent years, this is the sort of place that Spurs would come and drop points. You know, they wouldn't necessarily lose, but they might, get a draw, and I think that it just sums up Tottenham's new sort of like attitude.
In the end, Al-Dakhil got a touch to take that away from Richarlison in the box. Deflected ball forward for Burnley, finds Brun Larsen. And Roberts on the overlap. It's almost walking pace, pre-season friendly fare from Burnley at the moment, who have been tired just by the sheer intent of Tottenham at times. Ball forward to Foster. Breaks for Van der Ven, who goes back to his goalkeeper inside the 6-yard box. Just looking to get the ball clear here, as it's looped up towards Ivan Perisic. Tottenham have not quite put the cue in the rack, but they're happy to do a bit of defending here, as a side 5-1 up is their want. Cork wins it back, ball into the middle. Clever finish. Already a free kick called though, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, like you said, the game is sort of petering out. Tottenham know the game's won. Burnley know the game's lost. I think if it was a boxing match, the towel would have been thrown in a while ago. And you just have to hold your hands up and say Tottenham are the better team. They've got a bigger, better squad. Burnley can just put this one down to experience, learn from their mistakes, learn how to try and play against the top teams, because Tottenham are a top team. I know everything that's been said in the summer where they haven't potentially lost players and haven't potentially strengthened as much as others. But I think you see that what the manager's brought to the table in that short space of time, he's got Tottenham playing a different way and a more positive way, and given them that belief to and maybe just allowing them to go and express themselves more, and not be a counter-attack team like they have been over recent years.
Spurs have sent Emerson Royal on. Let's go to Stamford Bridge with the score. Pretty definitive here. It's Chelsea Forest, Ahmed Nur.
I can't believe I'm about to explain this to you. Forest still lead 1-0. Chelsea probably have missed the best chance to equalise in the whole match. Raheem Sterling, again the orchestrator, got to the byline. He squared it across the face with the goalkeeper beaten. Bear with me here. Thiago Silva! It's scrambled in at the near post, saved by Turner. Goes out for a corner. Jackson found it harder to miss than score. Somehow from 4 yards out, put it over the crossbar. We've got 5 minutes to go and still Forest hang on to a 1-0 lead.
So Forest clinging on. Chelsea desperate for something to break. The same way it's broken here this afternoon for Tottenham. 5-1 up at Turf Moor as Richarlison rolls his man and then looks to lift the pass into space for Pedro Porro. James Trafford thought for a second about coming out to meet it, whether he should or not, and then Pedro Porro looks to have pulled up here. And for an otherwise perfect afternoon potentially for Tottenham, this could just have soured a little.
Yeah, you don't like to see anyone pulling up. Obviously, watching the World Championships last week with all the players falling over and stuff like that. You don't like seeing that, especially when they're in full flight.
Well, Parra seems to have shaken off that one. 5-1 here, 2.5 to play, plus stoppages, of course, which could be anything of a mixed bag. Let's get an update from the G-Tech. It's Brentford against Bournemouth with Harry Symeou.
It's still Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2. Brentford desperately trying to find an equaliser. Thomas Frank has made some changes to try and shake things up a little bit, but they've had no luck so far. No real sign of that equaliser coming along. Bournemouth just trying now to take the sting out of the game. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2, with around about a minute of normal time to play.
2 minutes to play here. Ivan Perisic, I should say, Højbjerg wanted a penalty there. He was blocked off by Cork as that ball went into the back four. And Tottenham Hotspur not quite getting the chance to finish off Burnley with a sixth here. 5 wasn't enough. So just under 2 to play. It's 5-1 here.
And I think Højbjerg has gesticulated VAR. He's done the square about 20 times since he got tripped over. He definitely wants them to check it in Stockley Park.
Yeah, Newport against Wimbledon, Stuart Smith.
Oh, we're into the last minute of ordinary time. It's still Newport 2, Wimbledon 2. I think Wimbledon would settle for a draw at the moment. They've been under the cosh for the whole of the second half after taking an early lead. But here we've still got maybe 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage also. Newport 2, Wimbledon 2.
So time ticking down here, just over a minute remaining, should I say. Let's find out what's been the latest late on in Sutton against Forest Green with Craig.
It's Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. The side separated on 62 minutes by a strike from Harvey Bunker. Sutton have offered little in response. Lee Angold did try to put the ball in the back of the net with his hand from a cross, but he was booked. Fourth substitutes in Damani Mella coming on. Like I say, 5 minutes to the break. It's Sutton 0, Forest Green Rovers 1.
So Sutton heading for defeat there. Burnley 1, Tottenham 5. Tottenham with some defending to do. Emerson Royal cutting out the cross field ball, but it's fallen back to Jacob Bruun Larsen. In the end, weight of numbers pretty much will eventually stifle Burnley's efforts. But again, Spurs looking to play their way out from the back here through Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Almost up normal time. The board has gone up 6 minutes, Matt Lockwood.
Yeah, I think Højbjerg's still complaining about the penalty he should have got 5 minutes ago. But like I say, the substitutions all add on time now, don't they? And any goal celebrations added on the time. So, where games used to be 90 minutes, it's going to be 100, 110, like constantly now this season, isn't it?
Yeah, Richarlison, who has been agitating since he came on, was held by Hannes de Kraat, who then gets a booking for his trouble from Darren England. So the time ticking in and ticking down. Tottenham have won this one comfortably, 5-1. Emerson Royal has it on the back of the free kick, and Burnley's squeeze and press now has been restricted by the energy battle, and Tottenham just confident to pass the ball around, although they're still trying here, Burnley, to fashion something, although ball all the way back to their goalkeeper James Trafford. Richarlison trying to chase it down. I mean, it's been fallow fare for him, hasn't it, compared to everyone else's harvest.
Yeah, but I think from Burnley's point of view, they're not going to give up. They've got a manager that doesn't believe that that word doesn't even exist in his vocabulary. Giving up. He wants them to fight till the end, and yet they've been outplayed and outclassed today. But they still need to do the right things for themselves and to make sure that they progress in the season.
The G-Tech Stadium has seen a goal. Which way has it gone, Harry Symeou?
It's a late equaliser for Brentford. It's Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2. Brian Mbeumo, who missed a sitter earlier on in the half, has found the goal. He span away from Milos Kerkez, who committed to the challenge from a simple, long, direct ball. And Mbeumo raced through on goal, opened up his body and slotted it home with his left foot into the far corner. Brentford back on level terms, and there's still 3 minutes of stoppage time to play here. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2.
Edgy times at the G-Tech, but they've pulled it back late on. Throwing on the far side to Burnley. Tottenham will win this game, most likely by 5 goals to 1, 3.5 in added time to play. They've done the job here. Hat-trick from Son. Goals from Maddison and Romero. A masterclass in finishing. Having gone behind early to Lyle Foster's goal. And that one will break for Richarlison. It came from an offside position, so it won't count. Burnley get on with it quickly. Roberts down this left-hand side up to halfway. Infield to Cork. Turns away from danger and back to Dequois. Now Lyle Foster's got space to turn and face it. He tries to thread that ball in behind, but the execution at this stage of the game, tired legs. The Premier League is another step up, isn't it? I know some of these players weren't in the Championship side last year, but playing a team like Spurs works you overtime.
It does, and we said that in the first half, didn't we? That Burnley were matching them.
Brownhill has squeezed one in. Burnley, as you said, Matt, Vincent Kompany sides, don't give up, and even if it's little consolation, it's just a flicker of what they possess against some of the big guns.
And that is what will save them in this division. If they can score goals. We've seen how hard Everton have come by goals. Sheffield United aren't going to be free scoring, but if Burnley can score goals at this level, they do need to be much better defensively, as we've seen today. But if they can get the ball in the goal, then they've got half a chance. And I think that Burnley teams that we've seen over the previous years, under Dyche they've been more direct, but they've always had a couple of big units up front, whether it was Wood back in the day and guys like that, but they could always finish, they could always score. And Burnley, I'm not sure if they've got that in the locker at this level, but they've scored two sort of decent goals today. So we'll see how they get on for the rest of the season.
Here comes Spurs, looking to re-establish that buffer. It's a lovely ball out wide. Perisic has got it left side of the box. Support have flooded into the penalty area now. He'll be threaded through looking for Tanistini Doji, but it didn't quite find him. And Spurs will just see out the final minute or so here in possession. No way through on that occasion. Game 1, 5-2 the score. Tottenham Hotspur will move level with the pre-match leaders West Ham and a point behind Manchester City. Still embryonic stages of the Premier League table, but I guess Spurs more than anyone else know it's not just how you start, it's how you finish. But if you can do both, then you're definitely in amongst the pack, aren't you?
100%, yeah, and it's been a great start for them this season. Okay, yep, they went out of the cup on penalties.
Well, here they go. Richarlison brings it down on the edge of the penalty area, tries to lift it beyond O'Shea, who just stood his ground, and clears it for Burnley. Richarlison, he made a great run, free kick to the home side, who were in possession. I think some of the fans are making the point that isn't really an advantage.
Well, it definitely wasn't, was it? But I think we've gone over the 6 minutes now, so there can't be much longer to go.
Al-Dakhil tried to play that ball into the right channel. It's gone out for a throw-in, level the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. They will bring it clear. There's a Doji, who's looked really dangerous again. Really impressed by him. He's just pushed and run and danced beyond Al-Dakhil, and he'll try and take this into the penalty area, then chops it back into a little bit of space. Tottenham have just put the brakes on here. Oliver Skip infield to Romero. We are beyond the 6 minutes. Obviously a little bit of time added on maybe for the goal that Burnley scored in added time. Porro, Royale, and then knocked down the line. And Burnley are put out of their misery. But Matt Lockwood, Tottenham Hotspur, with a terrific win. They did it tough early doors, but once they started to show their class, well, there was only going to be one winner.
Exactly, yeah. I think it was a fair result. I think Tottenham were fantastic from sort of the 5th minute on, and they totally outclassed Burnley in the end, and it was 5-2. I think probably even flattered Burnley, to be fair. But great result from Tottenham, and Postecoglou will be delighted, as will all the travelling fans that have made that long trip north today.
Plenty of reaction to come then, but Tottenham Hotspur have got the job done up here at Turf Moor. Final score, Burnley 2, Tottenham Hotspur 5.
BBC Radio London.
The home of London football.
Well, Ange Ball is off and running in fine style. Burnley, got to be worried. That's what 11 goals conceded in 3 games in the Premier League. I know they got a couple of goals, but we'll talk about that with Matt Lockwood in a little while. Get reaction to that match as well. Let's go back to Turf Moor, shall we? Matt Lockwood is watching Ange Ball close at hand, and Matt, it's something that is delighting Spurs fans and delighting neutral observers at the moment. Matt, is the way that Tottenham go about their business. There's 2 sides to every story. Spurs are the positive, 5 goals scored. Burnley, you'd look at it, would be the negative, because they've conceded 11 goals in 3 games. But Spurs have done what they need to do, and it's a very different Tottenham Hotspur these days, isn't it?
Totally different, yeah, Phil, and especially how the game started. The fact that Burnley came out the traps really quickly, got the goal after 4 minutes. And then even straight after that, Tottenham were trying to play out from the back, and Burnley were pressing, and the fans were really sort of like encouraging them to do so. And you sort of thought it could have been a long afternoon for Tottenham, but then the quality started to show, and they were getting the ball forward into good areas for Maddison, Kulusevski, for Son to get on the ball. And then those guys just started doing what they do and opening Burnley up. And then you could see the difference in quality that Burnley maybe are lacking between winning the Championship and then stepping up into the Prem. Tottenham were fantastic. They were full of energy, full of creativity. It just looks like the handbrake's been released, and they've just been allowed to go and express themselves when they go forward. And they were fantastic today. They scored 5 brilliant goals, all very different. But it was a very, very professional performance, and Ange Postecoglou will be delighted going home this evening.
A big talking point, I would have thought, and obviously before the game we didn't get enough time to really get into it, but Richarlison, who he's looked out of sorts at the beginning of the season. He's been taken off in the earlier games this campaign. He's not looked happy about doing so. He scored midweek. He was one of only 2 of the players who retained their starting place for the League Cup game from the previous league game. He starts on the bench today. He sees other players, including of course Son, who plays through that middle portion of the pitch, score a hat-trick. Where do you think we now are with someone like Richarlison, especially with Brennan Johnson coming in, especially with the fact we know that Son can score goals, and he's shown it today playing through the middle? I'm not quite sure where he now starts fitting in. Is it a bit of a worry?
I think it's a worry for him as a player, because he's not going to play. He's not. If you had to put your strongest 11, he's not in it, and it's tough to say. But I don't think he's reached the heights for Spurs that he maybe did at Everton. I haven't seen him really have a game for Spurs where you think, oh, okay, right, you're firing on all cylinders, you're back to what you're best and how you play for Brazil and everything else. And sometimes it doesn't happen for players. They go to a new club and they don't quite fit in. And obviously when Harry Kane was here, he's never going to start before him, so he was always sort of just a bit part player, and that's just how I see him. He's a squad player. He'll come on at the end of a game when Tottenham have either won the game or they're just trying to nick one to get back in it, but I can't see him starting in the big games.
No, that's, I think, going to be the problem from him at this point of view. And Son got the captaincy. I mean, he loves scoring goals. You mentioned it in commentary as well. Harry Kane's going to look on and think, yeah, maybe I should have stayed put. But then on the flip side, he'll look at the fact they got knocked out of one cup competition midweek and think, well, I'm still going to win silverware in Germany anyway. Just what about Burnley? Because, when people looked at the three sides that came up, and they looked at them with all due respect to the likes of Luton and Sheffield United, they looked at them and went, they look as if maybe they're a little bit lacking in experience, lacking in guile, but maybe Burnley will have a little bit more. It's a different Burnley from what we saw under Sean Dyche, but they're open, and they are going to concede goals, Matt.
They are, and I think they where they started really well and they were pressing. You thought, well, okay, I can see, but they always want to play out from the back, and Kompany wasn't going to change that. That's the way he wants his teams to play, and however it's going, they're going to carry on playing out from the back. But what I actually think that he changed formation in the second half. They came out in the second half and they went to a back three. But what happened was, because you had Kulusevski on the right and Solomon on the left, they were actually occupying the wing backs, so it ended up you had three centre halves marking Son, and then there was so much room in midfield because they were just Burnley was so outnumbered. So I think that the manager actually tactically got that wrong at the start of the second half, and then it was one of those where the three centre halves, one of them didn't go and say, right, Son's my man, I'm marking him, so then he was making runs between them and scored a couple of goals in quick succession. Obviously Burnley then saw that wasn't working, so they changed it again and went to a 4. But I think that was the problem, where maybe they changed formation, they weren't quite used to it, they then conceded 3 goals in the space of 15 minutes or so, and then that was the game gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 3 promoted sides so far have, each of them have, between them now, I think they've played 10 games or 9 games. No, 10 games. 1 point picked up. That was Sheffield United today in a 2-2 draw with Everton. They've conceded somewhere towards 30 goals in those 10 games between them. I mean, it's a massive step that they've all taken, but you have to, at some point going into the international break, the fact that only 1 point has been picked up by any of them, and that is Sheffield United at Everton, with their first point of the season, and Everton look really poor. This could be a long, hard season. They're going to have to use this international break. Rob Edwards and Paul Heckingbottom and, of course, Vincent Kompany, to just maybe review where they are coming into to the season, or the next bit of the season when it starts. Yeah, and it's going to be tough. Like, you look at the league table now, and it does look ominous, doesn't it? The 3 promoted teams, in 3 of the bottom 4 places. So it is tough. And obviously, I was at the Sheffield United Crystal Palace game on the opening day of the season, and they just look toothless up front. And at this level, if you can't score goals, you're not going to win many games, especially when you're coming up against fantastic strike forces that are going to score against you. So it is going to be a long, tough season for these guys. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the league table, how it is at the bottom, is going to be very similar in May next year. Yeah. Spurs, though, second behind Man City, who also banged in 5 today against Fulham. I mean, it's almost a thankless task if you're Fulham going up to Manchester City, but Spurs being second at the moment. And again, I'm not sure the Spurs fans would have believed that with the changes that are being made and Harry Kane leaving, that the season would have started so well.
I don't think anyone did they? As soon as Kane left, everyone was like, I heard on the radio quite a few times, they won't even finish in the top half. And you think, how, sort of out of order is that for the rest of the Tottenham players? But I think where maybe the Scottish football doesn't get the recognition it maybe sometimes, no, it's not necessarily sometimes deserves, but obviously Postecoglou did a fantastic job at Celtic. He went in and completely turned that club around, because it was off the back of obviously Rangers winning the league, and they were in a really bad place. They weren't, Celtic weren't in a good place at all, and he's just gone in and transformed them. And it's a massive club. And if he can come and do half as well at Tottenham as he did at Celtic, then the Tottenham fans will be delighted.
Yeah, they certainly will. Elsewhere today, I mean, that's hard on Fulham. Man City, when they get the bit between their teeth, and Haaland, when he does, are going to start scoring goals. So, are there any concerns about Fulham? Paulinho stays, but he was obviously quite keen to go. He's going to have to refocus. Jimenez scores today, but it's in a 5-1 defeat. Any concerns about Fulham, Matt, do we think, at the moment?
Not for me, no. I think obviously the game against Man City at the Etihad is always going to be a tough game, isn't it? I don't think the manager's going to come away from that and have sort of like learned anything or thought, okay, my players aren't good enough, because they're not games that Fulham would expect to go and win. Obviously you don't want to go there and get hammered like maybe they did today, but they're not the important games. The important games are when they're playing the likes of Brighton, Brentford, Villa, Forest, Man United. They're the important games, and if they can then pick points up against those teams, which they are, then they're going to be fine. But obviously Fulham have got, I suppose their mentality has changed, hasn't it, over the last sort of year or two, where they wouldn't be happy finishing 17th. They want to finish in the top 10. They want to finish in the top 8, and that's where their targets are now, which is brilliant.
Tomorrow afternoon we've got live coverage. 1:30 we kick off with our coverage. It will start from Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal are hosting Manchester United, by the way, tomorrow. The big half takes place. Mo Farah's last race in London. If you're going to be out and about in the streets of this part of London, South East London, to cheer him on, have a good day. We'll have updates during Jamoko's show and Robert Elms tomorrow morning as well from the big half. And if you're competing and running in it, good luck as well. I know many people are, and again, just like the London Marathon, it's bigger brother or its bigger sibling. It is a race in which people raise huge amounts of money. Good luck if you're going to be running tomorrow. Make sure carbo load, get yourself to bed early, and no Saturday evening celebratory drink or commiseratory drink, depending on what's happened to your football team this afternoon. Spurs sit second after a 5-2 thrashing of Burnley. Brentford come from behind to get a 2-2 draw late on thanks to Brian and Mbumo. Fulham get put to the sword, but there's controversy about a goal which gave Man City the go-ahead at half-time by 2-1. And Chelsea are now just 1 win in 10 at home at Stamford Bridge after a 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. Queen's Park Rangers get an away win at Middlesbrough. Millwall get a draw at Birmingham City. Charlton back to winning ways for the first time since the beginning of the league season with a 2-1 win against Fleetwood. Leyton Orient lose to Stevenage though, and there's a draw for AFC Wimbledon and a defeat for Sutton United in League 2. Don't go anywhere though, because your Saturday evening is about to start in fine style. Mr. Saturday Night is up next. It's the Great GC ahead of introducing at 8 o'clock. Have yourself a great Saturday evening. We're back tomorrow from 1:30.